Hey, welcome everyone, two viewers. Yes,
That's
we're
the
getting.
draw you get when you get me. You get
No,
two
no,
viewers.
no, no. They're not used to me doing video game content. I tried to do. I'm here joined with my one of my cool. We've got back well, but we're reconnecting a little bit.
Yeah,
Michael
yep,
Garvey, one of
yep.
my good
He's back
friends
on
here.
YouTube. Yep.
Yeah, he's got his channel. He's doing more content lately too, so
Oh, hey,
go check him
Brian.
out. Oh yeah, Brian, if you want to hop in, you
Yeah,
can.
Brian, come on. We need you.
We're talking about casual games. A few changes that I have to. I think I used the right intro. John did a lot of work creating the intro, so I wanted to keep that going. But there's one that gets me a copyright claim. I hope that's not the one. Uh, Either
This
way,
one's,
few
yeah.
changes. Few changes to the show. Nothing to be sad about. Of course, we all got other things going on, including Michael. It's a busy time, and
Matt's got the B team now. He's got Mikey.
no, 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 no.
Yeah,
No, it's like this is going to be more like a collectors club. Like we talk about. Oh, cool, cool. Brian's going to be on in a
oh,
bit.
thank you, Brian.
Um, it's more like a collectors club and just keeping in touch now than a weekly podcast because a weekly podcast is pretty hard to keep going, especially when you got other things going on. And we're all working men.
Max is funny. You guys probably don't hear this, but in the background, Max has like so many ideas. He tells me, he's like, I want to do this in the new year. I want to do that. I'm like, Max, there's not enough hours in the day to do all the things you want to do.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, he wants to do like 12 podcasts a day.
yeah,
It's like, what the
yeah.
hell?
Oh, John might be able to make it awesome,
All right.
John.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is a retro bro
Yeah.
show, so he
So,
is
so
retro bro.
yeah. So, John, I was thinking about canceling, but I'm like, no. I've had so many video game podcasts that I've canceled. I'm like, I want to keep this going, especially because we have plans, and I also talked to Michael. We might meet up as well in June
That'd
at
be awesome.
too many games. We're
Yeah.
talking about it, and I really want that to be. I think I can make it. I'm saving up my money. I want to get my tickets first, just to make sure. I think they're on sale now, so I don't think
I'm
they
not
sell
sure.
out or anything. But I think John told me the dates. And then I was thinking about that it's easier to do a podcast once a month too, because a lot of news backs up. Uh,
Yes. Yes.
and then you can talk about what you've been playing for the month. And sometimes when you do week to week, you struggle. I'm like, once a month. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, Callie, you made an appearance. All right.
I
So
yeah. I think once a month is good for these kind of things because you're more into the movie stuff, and that needs to be done because of all the drama that you cover. I don't particularly like it, but I understand it. So the drama you cover, it needs to be like but retro stuff is timeless. You can always do it, on your own time. So
oh, I am also planning on pre-recorded content as well. I'm going to challenge myself because I hate editing. I hate
we
editing.
all hate editing. Yeah.
I'm more of a live stream person, but I want to. I've been releasing. Oh, right off the bat, my pal Michael sent me a little. It's almost like a holiday gift because it's right around the holidays, and I will open it up here. Well, I'm not going to open up the actual cartridge
Hey,
yet.
it's yours. You do whatever you
I'm
want.
gonna wait till I'm gonna break it open when I go on vacation. I'm like gonna dive deep into this game when I go on vacation and really. And this is quite an experience for me because this is my first one. I'll explain in the reason. Ooh, and this is a great one. And even Uncharted fans sometimes overlook this one.
Yeah, that's a
Uncharted
hidden gem right there. Hidden
Golden
gem.
Abyss sealed. I've never had a sealed PS Vita game. Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate this, man. This is awesome.
You're welcome.
This is a game that I really wanted a lot. I mean I do have it from the PlayStation Plus,
Yeah, yeah.
but oh, Brian has. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, we're just keeping this show going. Brian knows how many times I've tried to get a video game podcast, keep it consistent. So we're just doing it as like a once a month collector club, talking about gaming. But look what Michael sent me. I collected the Vita when it was used. So I've never had a sealed Vita game. I've always got them used. This is awesome. And Uncharted series, I love this, man. And I didn't play this game a lot. I only played it a little bit because of my PlayStation Plus subscription digitally. But now it gives me a chance to like go deep dive when I go on vacation next or go up to my parents' cottage. I'll play this. So very, very happy to add this to my collection. And I don't collect much now either, too. So it's a rare treat. I'm very excited.
I'm trying to quit collecting. I'm trying to actually play games, and that was something that was sealed. You had mentioned it on a podcast or something, or maybe you're playing a game and you said,
"Oh yeah." Well,
games. Yeah.
What happened was I went to sell stuff, and I used to sell stuff and buy stuff. But here Kamikaze's here. Hey, Kamikaze.
Hey, Michael, Master of None. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah,
pleasure to meet you. Yeah.
So Kamikaze, few changes. We're the Super Retro Bro shows once a month now, at least for now.
Okay.
Because people are so busy. So we're doing this like a collector club to rekindle and talk about what we've been playing. And I have a Vita. Michael just sent me Uncharted Golden Abyss.
Sealed. Oh, that's a good fucking game. Game.
And the reason that's what I've been trying to control myself buying stuff. I was at the game shop. Someone sold their whole Vita collection. I didn't buy it, and this was there. And
I have to ask, what version of the Vita do you have?
The OLED.
Oh man, that's I had the OLED. Long story short, mine got stolen, so I have the new version. It's literally right here. Hold on.
Mm-hmm. I love the Vita, man.
This baby blue motherfucker is sexy as shit.
That's nice. I like the blue. The blue.
But the OLED screen, oh my god, it was brilliant. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Oh yeah. So I can't wait to play that.
Unfortunately, I never got the OLED one. I just got the slim number 2 or whatever. But Max makes me feel bad because Max is like, this is the only one that I have sealed. I have like 10 games sealed. I think I'm a little bit.
No, I have a decent collection. They're just all been used. I bought them all. Hey, John, how's it going?
What's up, man? I appreciate you taking the reins for a while, dude.
Oh, no. I thought about canceling. I'm like, no, I'm not canceling another video game podcast. So I was like, you know what? Let's just change it up to like a once a month collectors club. And especially since we're planning to meet up at too many games. I'm like, I want to keep it going at least till then.
Well, well, like you said, it's tough because when you are doing it weekly, and it's a retro podcast, you'll run out of stuff to talk about very fast. So and my thing was, for me personally, like I've been focusing on more edited content on my channel, and my edited content takes a long time to edit.
Oh yeah, Devin.
So my goal is 2 a week with my channel. So each video takes 8 to 12 hours to edit, and they're 12 to 15 minute videos. So to commit every week to a podcast is very tough. I love doing stuff like this, and I want to keep doing it. And I'm going to definitely jump on whenever I can.
Sure. I want to keep it casual, no pressure. I know Cyrus is busy getting to 100K, so we'll see if Cyrus eventually shows up next month. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
So you laugh, you laugh, but on Social Blade, you can look at like projections. Have you ever done that on future projections? And go to his Social Blade and look at future projections.
Oh wow!
And just see where he'll be at in like 2 years if he continues the trend. Obviously, I mean that's
I will check it later. I stay away from Social Blade because it makes me depressed about my channel.
I feel that, Max. I feel that.
Well, let's be honest. Cyrus has a professional voice. I mean, he sounds like he should be 100K. You know. Like he just sounds so professional. It's ridiculous.
Well, Brian's been supporting my my video content for Game Boy Advance, and that's where I decided to come. And hopefully, Luke's Awakening. Maybe we can have you on next month too, bro. Because I've been trying to get you. Oh, come on, Zeno. Well, we're not talking about that other thing on this one. I'm talking about things.
Speaking of 100,000.
Yeah. I'm only speaking on things that are that I can obtain and collect. Luke's Awakening says, and yeah, this is the main topic just to discuss. Oh wow, Kamikaze's already starting the party. he's
You know what, Chris? That's a good idea. I have a bottle of Jim Beam upstairs and a 2-liter bottle of Coke. So
fuck the Coke. Just bring the fucking Jim Beam,
all
boy.
right, look, hey, look, I'll be right back.
Well, Michael, we start with you. What do you think is the console with the most hidden gems? The one I'm diving deep into right now is Game Boy Advance. There are so many games on there that I didn't realize were there, and there's some really decent ones. Like you know, the Super NES had. I like some of the graphics better there. Even though the Game Boy Advance is ahead of it, graphics, but sometimes the pixel art's a little bit more muted and stuff. But there's some really standout ones there. Really standout games.
This was a tough one because a lot of like Wii U, somebody says in the chat and everything, but without a doubt, the best one is what I think is the greatest console of all time, and it has some of the vastest library is PlayStation 2. Exhibit A, if you can see this one.
Ooh.
Sakura Wars. Got it for $30 back in the day.
Oh wow.
And this was the first game I ever knew that you could have like some sort of dating sim along with playing.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you have all these girls. You date all these girls, and you get the affinity levels.
I'd like to do that.
It's kind of like a Persona, right? A Persona game, and then you not only battle in giant mechs in like the past Tokyo, but you also go on stage and perform theatrical stage numbers. So, what a crazy thing this was!
Every weeb's dream.
It was the epitome of JRPG.
Oh, I think if you like, I'm not a big RPG fan. I respect it. Yeah, Zeno says I think PS2 if you're really into RPGs, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Probably there's a lot of RPGs on the PS2.
There's a lot of everything on the PS2.
Case in point, my Exhibit 2 is
he brought all kinds of
Shadow Hearts. Actually, it's Shadow Hearts 1 was great. Everybody says Shadow Hearts 2 is the best, but I actually like Shadow Hearts 3.
I have no idea what any of these are.
It's JRPGs that take place in real settings in the world. So the first one's right before World War One, and then it takes you through, and then this third one is actually in America. That's why it's called From the New World. And you get to meet Al Capone, you get to meet all these mobsters and stuff. So it kind of blends fantasy with real life people. And I think that's really fun. You go to a prison and all of a sudden Al Capone's there. What the heck? It's so stupid.
Do you meet Kanye West?
No, but you have a ninja and he uses a cactus, and then sometimes you can switch the blade out and it's actually just a stop sign. So you hit people with signs and stuff. It's so stupid. But yeah, those three are hidden gems. The actual it was published by Ecstasy, but the actual producer of the games they're defunct now, so you'll never be able to see these games get remakes. So unfortunately,
I never even knew they existed.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah,
I
mean, you could always emulate them. Shadow Hearts, look them up.
Yeah. Anthony Cheeseman says N64, so many hidden gems. We'll get to Brian too, and then Kamikaze. But John, what system when you started collecting? Did you wow, there's a lot of games here I haven't
That's easy.
Okay.
Sega Saturn.
Oh,
Come on.
Saturn.
Dude, there is the Japanese the Japanese market alone for the Sega Saturn is like, if you grew up in America, even if you just dabbled in Saturn, when you get into that Japanese market, it's like exploring. It's like experiencing the Saturn all over again as a kid. It's phenomenal.
Oh, cool. Brian,
did somebody say Sega Saturn?
That was me, sir. How are
Hey,
you?
Kevin, nice to see you.
I'm doing excellent. Hey, what's up, Max?
I just came upon this because I've been I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna challenge myself to do edited content. That's why there's been so many videos there. And I also want to do positive, so I'm gonna try this. I've been doing the clips of the videos, just uploading it straight, and then I'm gonna do why I love, and I'm gonna talk about for like 3 minutes and show some gameplay of a game I love.
That's
It's
a
not
great
gonna
idea.
be it's not gonna be a review. It's just simple, something that you can make a lot of content fast, and then eventually I'll combine those videos into a hidden gems video. You see, I'll do multi-layered content, and it makes it easier. And I'll just edit them all together. But Brian, back in the day, what console did you love? What was one of your favorite consoles? Maybe with the games when you're like, "Wow, this has some cool games on it I didn't know about."
It was the console I wrote a hot check for. The year was 2001. I had just started working, and I had this thing called a checking account. Bad idea. Don't do that. Slap on the wrist. But anyways,
Did you have a,
it was the Nintendo-
checkbook too?
I did. Yes.
Do you write down all your transactions?
No, they told me, they're like, "Hey, you fill out your register." I'm like, "No, I'm good. It's on the internet." In 2001, it wasn't. But yeah. So, anyways, that was the Nintendo GameCube. It was a heck of a lot of fun. The Rogue Squadron game was the one that really just like tied me in, because it had that active lighting or whatever, to where it was like if you were playing the game during the day, the game was during the daytime type situation, and like that was a heck of a lot of fun. And then when my first one broke down, I ended up getting another one, but it was the Metroid Prime Edition one, and yeah, that game was awesome. Yeah. So yeah, the GameCube, tons of not necessarily hidden gems, but like just stuff that I really enjoyed playing. Because when it comes down to it, I was really like mainstream with a lot of my stuff. I guess like Madden is one of my favorite games. Like, just throughout the years, I've been playing football games and hockey, baseball. So
Cool. Thanks, Brian.
Brian has a point with the GameCube. I literally have a thing that I might do on my channel is every one of the best games from Nintendo or from GameCube. All the Mario's the best game on GameCube. The kart game, the fighting game, all of them. I think the best version. Zelda, they're all on the GameCube.
Well, that was kind of when Nintendo really had to start leaning heavily on their first party stuff to sell their console, because that was when we started to see that third party dilemma kind of come in with Nintendo, because the games were harder to put on those discs, so it was much easier for third parties to make games for Xbox and PlayStation at the time. But you're right, I would agree with that. I remember I had a GameCube after I had a Dreamcast, because obviously we know what happened to the Dreamcast. So then I got a GameCube. I'm like, well, I missed out on the N64. I had a PlayStation. Let me get a Nintendo system this time. And for the most part, man, was it Eternal Darkness? Is that the game? There was that weird ass game.
Yeah.
Turok was really good on GameCube. That game looked great.
Oh, really?
Resident Evil 0. Remember, that was exclusive for a while.
Oh, Resident Evil 0 was fun.
It's the worst one too, by the way.
No, come on.
It's fun, though. It's fun.
Bro, any Resident Evil game stands over that shit. That's literally on the bottom of the fucking totem pole.
I'll take it over Code
I got it
Veronica
for
any
free.
day.
Somebody
You're
at work
fucking
just
nuts.
gave it to me.
You're
Man,
nuts.
it was good.
I said what I said, Chris. All right.
That's fine. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong.
Well, Chris, what's your favorite system that you were like, wow, there's some games here I didn't know about, or you dove deep into a console that you like collected for that was like, wow, refreshing?
I don't like the term hidden gems. It's like either you know about it or you don't, or you find out about it. It's like hidden gems. It's like someone was taking these games and packing them away in a little cavern.
Thanks a lot. That's what I was planning to call the series.
it's just like, I don't like that term. It's like they're games. Everybody was acceptable to them. It's either you knew about them or you didn't. But my favorite system of all time is the fucking Dreamcast, hands down. Anybody disagrees, we can fight right now. We'll throw fisticuffs. Dreamcast is my favorite system, absolutely from the top to the bottom. I don't know as far as games for it. Like, I mean, it speaks for itself. Like, what do I need? What do I even need to bring up? It's the fucking Dreamcast.
Well, the sports games on that were evolutionary. Like,
Yeah,
the detail that they used at that time, like because that was the 2K games. That was
I
Yeah.
thought
2K
like at
football
that
and the
point,
2K
So
basketball.
how could it get better from here? Like,
So
this is the peak of gaming.
Shameless
Little do I
plug.
know.
Shameless plug. My one of my most recent videos is about the launch of the Dreamcast and experiencing that as a fan back when it was released. And I mentioned in there, I'm like the sports games, and I'm like, listen, it's not just because the sports games looked better than what was on PS1 and N64. It was the presentation of them, like the way the graphics were, the way the players stood there, and like kind of like adjusted their
They clapped their
pads.
hands and shit,
It was
yeah.
like I remember
It
the
was,
first time
it
I
was
saw
also
that
ahead
game.
of its time with its
Yeah.
network connectivity. Like
Yep.
the Dreamcast
Yes,
had a
sir.
modem
Yes,
right out of
sir.
the box, so
Yep.
like it was
Yes,
way
sir.
ahead of its time.
Yeah.
There's still fan servers that are still up. You could still jump on and play like Fantasy Star Online if you can connect to some of these
There's a whole
servers.
server for that. I actually did
Yeah.
that not like a couple years ago or whatever because Fantasy Star Online was fucking bonkers for me.
Mm.
I got in so much trouble for that fucking game.
Soul Calibur 2 was the one.
Soul Calibur 1.
No, 1, yeah.
Yep.
Soul Calibur 1 was the first game that was better on the home console than it was in the arcades.
Mhm.
was like,
I don't know.
what?
I didn't do the appropriate legwork to figure it out, but
No, when
I
it came
loved
out,
it.
that was the big selling point. They're like, the graphics were better. It was like, what? It's crazy.
Well, we're gonna get to Devin next. I would also like to say, if you're a Microsoft fan, one of the consoles that has like the some really interesting games is the original Xbox. Like Microsoft tried more. There's some great stuff on there with like, what's that? There's Quantum Redshift. There's that.
Quantum Redshift is good.
Mhm.
There's that flying game. I forget the name of that game.
Flying
Salt
game.
Bay right
Time
now, just bringing some
Sweepers?
salt.
No, you're
No,
thinking
they're
of
planes,
the World
like
War II,
classic-
the
Class
planes.
Red Scott or something.
I don't know why I can't
Reds-
think of it. Someone
Yeah, I
in the
know.
chat.
I think I know what you're
It's on,
talking
it's
about.
on backwards compatibility too. I forget what the Blood Wake. There's some interesting stuff on there. But Devin, what system do you know? You were like, wow, there's some stuff here I didn't think about, or you started collecting for, or you dove deep into a system.
Well, so in the heyday of like the Sega and Nintendo console wars, I was staunchly in the Sega camp. And that kind of like put me into the track of unintentionally finding gems that, you know, they were hidden from everyone else by virtue of the fact that everybody else didn't follow Sega on their path. You know, they all went to Sony PlayStation, but you know, I see a lot of people shit talking the Saturn, and I will go to war for the Sega Saturn any day of the week. Like I
Yeah,
still play.
I like Devin. I like Devin. Me and you. We gotta be boys.
I
man.
still play my library of games. Look, I got my Guardian Heroes right here. You know, with my
Ooh.
it's all blurry. Hold on a second. Wait, let me.
Oh,
let me
I sold
turn
my
shit
Sega
off.
Saturn collection.
You
sold
what?
it. I sold my Sega Saturn collection. It
You
wasn't
had a
that
Sega
big.
Saturn collection.
It wasn't big. It was like when I pared down my collection, I was like, what systems? I'm going to keep half of them, and that was the
Look at
one I
that
didn't-
price tag on that too.
Oh wow!
That was-
$14.95.
What does that?
That
What
was-
does that go
that
for
was
now?
a
What does that
gem.
go for now?
Oh,
Oh,
show
I
us more, Devin. Show us more.
Add a
from
couple
Saturn.
zeros
see.
on that, and that's what it goes for now.
I've got my busted up cover. These Saturn jewel cases, for whatever reason, were the most
Yeah.
fragile things in the world.
Yeah, they
but-
suck.
Amongst my favorite
wow.
games of all
Shining
time,
Force.
Shining
Yeah.
Force 3. Another one of my favorite games of all time, Dragon Force. This is like the true hidden gem amongst hidden gems because like even Sega Saturn owners and players have a hard time finding that one. And whenever I come across Saturn fans and talk about it, they have no idea what I'm talking about. Like a lot of those working designs games kind of falls in that realm. But if you can come across a copy of that game that's not too expensive, by all means, pick it up.
Your
And then, of
cat wants
course,
your Saturn games.
Saturn Bomberman.
Ooh, Saturn Bomberman.
Which is a hell of a lot of fun.
Have you
Plus,
ever played this Saturn Bomberman? It's like versus where it's like
The 10 players.
yeah.
I wanted to so bad, but for starters, I just didn't have like 10 friends when that game came out. And I didn't have, you have to have like, yeah, you also have to have like 2 of the multi controller ports and, you know, then 10 controllers. Because I don't think maybe there was an online component, but I think the 10-player was strictly local. So, you know,
That's
I would
one-
like to at some point.
That's one console that I haven't really touched is Sega Master System.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
I
me
had
either
one
on
of
that
those.
one.
They had I think a
But there are a lot of really, really, really fantastic Saturn games, and some that I still, am on the lookout for that I'll probably never own. To be honest, but and I rage every time Sega like announces some Genesis collection pack, and it's all the same Genesis games that they keep re-releasing over and over. And I'm like, God, come on, please give us like a Saturn one.
If
Give us
you
a
had-
Saturn one or
if you have
Dreamcast
a
one.
if you have a Saturn, so what I have is what's called it's called Pseudo Saturn Kai. It allows you to play essentially repro and burn Sega Saturn games in your Saturn. So
Oh, nice.
it has saved me, not even kidding, thousands of dollars because some of these games that are like $800, I can just burn onto a CD and I'm putting them in my Saturn, playing it on original hardware. So
I'm gonna have to look into that one then. Like I haven't touched my Saturn in a while because like I started doing another Dragon Force playthrough and then just kind of deviated off.
Don't judge me, but because of my finances, I have had to not collect physically. I just want to play some of these games. So recently, I've been diving deep. I do still have some Game Boy Advance games, but there's a lot of Game Boy Advance that I did not know about at all, and it's on my modded Xbox that they just had a Game Boy Advance folder. I bought it from someone else, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna look at this. There's some great stuff in there.
What's your favorite Game Boy Advance game then?
Well, right now, because it changes, this new I've played it before, but I started playing this again, and this game is like so fire because I love beat 'em ups.
Are you playing it right now? Is that what I'm hearing? Is buttons?
Oh, come on, Max. A beep?
Fires, click, 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 click.
That's me,
I
bro.
can't tear myself away from this
That's
game,
me.
guys.
No, it's the I shouldn't. I don't know if I should play the. Well, I'll have the sound off here. It's Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith Game Boy
Yeah,
Advance.
he was playing it.
Yeah, he was.
It's a beat 'em up, and I have to beat Dooku though. Dooku is hard as hell. It's the first boss, and I'll show. But the animation's great.
It looks pretty cool.
I love Star Wars. I think it's one of the best beat 'em ups of all time. Like
wow, that's a bold statement.
I mean,
That's
look
a
how
really bold statement.
look how you destroyed the droids and they fall to pieces. That's pretty
That's
legit.
cool.
What
That's
game
a
is
bold
that, Max?
statement.
It's Revenge of the Sith for the Game Boy Advance.
Is it Star Wars Revenge of the Sith? Or?
Yes, Star Wars Revenge
I'm
of the
gonna
Sith.
find it right now and put it on.
It's not Star Trek Revenge.
And then here's facing Duke. Now the things change up when you fight Dooku. You have to like block and shit.
So there's a fighting game component to it.
Yeah, so I have to get good at this game. I was like, damn, this is hard as hell.
Bro, just take the high ground. Just take the high ground.
Right. I have to
funny.
figure out but I died here. This is when I stopped the video. I'm like, damn. And then you switch between Obi-Wan and Anakin.
That looks
Oh, that's
cool,
cool.
actually.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. But this is great. And then I'm gonna bring up another game that I just found. John was talking about Turok. I gotta play the GameCube Turok because you said it's really good.
Yeah.
I haven't really played that one yet. This is if you like running guns. This is the Turok game on the Game Boy Advance. Is like a run and gun with dinosaurs.
Oh wow.
Look at this.
Bro, he's doing a home invasion right now.
right.
What is E King?
B&E.
But I never knew about this game.
That's cool.
I
That does
didn't
look pretty
either.
interesting. Kind of Metal Slug like.
Yeah. There's a lot of running guns on the Game Boy Advance that are like Metal Slug. And they actually have
Bro, let's see, he was doing a B&E on the fucking Flintstones.
let me see what else I was uploading a lot of these, just was like, wow, this is cool. I'm gonna tell people about this. Well, I love Klonoa's on there.
Yes, Klonoa, Empire
Yeah.
of Dreams. I think that's the one. You were-
I think people know about that one. Oh, that's all I've uploaded so far, but I have more to come. Here's one that I also I have a Sega CD that doesn't work anymore, It just
Oh,
stopped
Sega CD
working.
is fucking phenomenal. God damn
And-
it. those
and
CDs.
Mine's
Here-
on the
here's-
fritz, man. It's making me nervous every time it boots up. For if I leave it sit for a while, it's got a nice
Yeah.
little grinding
That's a-
noise to
This
it.
is cool. What's
But you
fun
get to
is-
listen to that cool music for a long time.
Here's
Yeah.
a keep 'em up
Just
shmup.
beautiful.
Is this like Cotton or something?
Is that
No,
KO Flying Squadron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good game.
So I just started playing that. And that's
The one on Saturn sucks though. The second one, it's not like a shmup. It's more of a platformer. I hate it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
So you're talking about Klonoa. That was another game that was on the PlayStation 2. Klonoa 2.
yeah.
It was one.
Well,
of the
no, it
first
was a lot
games-
of fun.
I
Yeah.
played the first one. I didn't love it.
The second one's much better.
You're right. My reflexes aren't what they used to be. They're not.
And this was the first one I ever saw that used that kind of art style with the thick outlines to make it look more cartoony. There were other games like that.
The cell
especially-
shading.
Cell shading, yeah. I think Dreamcast had that spray paint
Yeah, Jet Set Radio.
Jet Set Radio.
Oh, Jet
But,
Set
yeah,
Radio was that shit. I love
Yeah.
Jet Set Radio.
That game was a blast.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
You all were talking about how you like Sega, but if you really like Sega, you could, if you were in Japan, buy these kind of games. Sega kind of sold themselves out in Japan, and they would for $25. That's the 2500 series. That's the yen.
Oh, yeah.
These are Phantasy Star 1 and 2. You could also get Panzer
think-
Dragoon.
I think they released Dragon Force on the PlayStation 2 in that
Yeah,
series
isn't
as
that
well.
crazy? So
Yeah,
you don't need
that's
a-
the series I almost got an import PS2 for to get those Sega Ages or whatever. What is it? Show that again. That
Yeah.
series.
Yeah, I only brought these two out because I knew Retro
Yeah,
Bro was going to be
there was
here.
a lot of
Uh,
imports
I
PlayStation
have-
2 games that never came here.
I have about 40 or so PlayStation 2 Japanese games.
Yeah.
I didn't even bring it
I-
up because I thought
I was
Hidden
thinking-
Gems really isn't Japanese game. So
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
I got
and I
Infinity
could've
Star
bought
on
both
Infinity Star
sets.
Online.
Then I should
That's
go
where I got
grab my
Infinity Star.
Japanese Saturn games then.
yeah.
Here's another hidden gem. It's
Oh,
called
boy.
Eternal Poison. It's like Disgaea or Final Fantasy Tactics. It's kind of a tactics game, but it's also very goth and pretty cool. Not a lot of people know about it. I only got it for $14 back in the
Wow.
day. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
I was gonna get I was thinking about getting an import PlayStation 2 just for Sega Rally, the Sega Rally on the PS2. That was.
Oh, I
yeah,
love Sega Rally.
They had a PlayStation 2 version of a Sega Rally game that's only on. It's a different version, and it's a little bit better than the Saturn version of it. Yeah, the Mario show. The Mario show's coming back. I don't know about that.
What is E King? I don't understand. Is that a joke or something?
I don't know if he's trolling or not. I'm not sure. He thinks you're
I-
King. Who knows?
They think you're somebody else. Apparently, that's all.
Like BB King?
No, E-King was a channel that doesn't exist anymore. Apparently, that person thinks you were him.
Okay.
Here's two other ones. These are kind of expensive. They're called Monokuma. They're actually a part of the Atelier series, Atelier, you know. Everyone probably knows the Atelier Ryza because, she's so thick. She's got thick thighs or whatever.
What?
But little do they know that this was actually a part of it. There's actually like 25 games in the series. I have them all, but not all physical.
Is that why
copies.
you got it? Because of them thick thighs.
Yeah, no,
Dude, that's why I played Street Fighter for all them years on the Genesis, man.
Right?
Come on, don't
Yeah.
kid yourself.
It was,
No,
it
me,
wasn't
right?
because it was a good fighting game. It was because of them fucking Chun-Li thighs, boy.
we might as well go through these Atelier games. These are Atelier Iris 1, 2, and 3. They were on the PlayStation 2. This was before they had the girly stuff. PlayStation 3 is the one that started the Moe girls, and then PlayStation 4 had the Ryza with her
Amiga.
thighs.
I don't know anything about the Amiga.
Anyway,
I know-
let's go
I know
on and on
this-
about.
I got a question. I got a question. Everybody talks about their favorite console. What's your least favorite console? Like the worst one? Like what you spent the less time with?
Mine's probably going to cause some anger.
Does it have to be one that is it? Does it have to be
Just the
that I
one,
own?
like it doesn't have to be like, oh, it's shit. The one that everyone should like, but the one that like you were just like, this isn't my thing. This isn't my thing.
I know John,
N64.
the PlayStation 5.
No.
Hold it.
I could see it.
I would-
N64, I don't know. Maybe
I-
might not be.
I would probably. Who said N64? I would agree.
I
Oh.
said N64.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I agree.
Because
I
I'm
agree.
trying to
That
think of-
controller sucked. It was like,
Yeah.
I love that
What-
controller.
But
What do
let's
you do?
be
That
real.
controller
about
was
something
great
here
for
a
certain games.
I'm going to
Let's-
get a lot of hate for this, but the original NES, all those games are super hard, and the only ones that I like were the Marios, and you could get them on the Super Mario as a collection. So what was the point of it? That's my take. Sorry.
Bad take,
My
Michael. Bad take.
No, it's not a bad take.
I don't think it's a bad take. I don't agree with
I'm
it,
not saying I
but
hate
like
it. I just say, why is it gotta be so hard?
most NES games were garbage.
Oh,
but
Yeah, a large majority of them were.
Well, I don't know.
Wii
I
U
might
was good.
but-
be on your side. I think
the
maybe.
ones that were good were golden, and there were a good
Yeah.
number of golden
Yeah.
games, but
Also,
I mean, there
they-
was just a lot of trash.
They
too.
made those games bullshit, a lot of them, because they didn't want people to go run the Blockbuster, beat them in an hour, and then never pay for the game. They wanted you
I
to sit
know.
there and play the game over and over again. You know, I would agree. Like aside from the games I grew up and played, there's only, as an adult, there's only really been a few games that I didn't play as a kid that I went back to and found and was like, oh my god, this is awesome. Do I love the NES? Absolutely. It was my first console, but
Yeah, same.
from like a retrospective, it's
Yeah.
starting to get to that age where like Atari is now, where some of those games are just very hard to go back. It'll never be as bad as Atari. Those games are like, unless you grew up with a 2600, those games are impossible to go back to and
That
play.
was my first console. I'm a little bit
Okay.
older than you, I think. So,
Yeah.
and then I skipped over the NES, and I knew a few friends that had it, and then I had the Super NES when I was in high school, and my sister and I would play it. But maybe that's just a bad take on me. But man, oh man, some of those games are just death.
Well, I mean, N64 is the same way. You look at the library of N64, and the majority of them weren't that great. But the rare
It was the
stuff,
experimental phase.
the
is what it
rare
was.
and
They weren't
Nintendo
that
stuff
hard
was,
either.
was locked down. It was great,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, Thomas, this is a great. Oh, go ahead, Devin.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's an interesting point and definitely one that shouldn't be overlooked. That it was an experimental phase. Like the N64 was a crazy transitional period in gaming because
Absolutely.
it was what introduced full 3D gaming in more than just like say a first person shooter or something. You know,
Well, wouldn't you
I
say
know
the PlayStation did that though? Because I mean, the PlayStation
Not-
came out a full year.
You can say
earlier
that
than
about
the
any
64.
console to a degree.
Yeah, to a degree, you could say it about most consoles,
Yeah.
but it wasn't until Mario 64 when people were like, "Oh,
Yo, this
that's
is
true.
the shit.
Like,
yes.
these-
I
figured
did
it out.
Mario 64.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
They
So,
figured
like-
out the camera and the control when
Yeah.
Mario 64 came out for 3D platformers.
I was living in Japan when the N64 was still the Ultra 64 and they were like demoing it, and I remember going to a Japanese toy store and seeing it, and to me it was like I was looking into the year 2045. I was like, this is incredible. I can't believe what I'm watching. I'm Mario, I'm running around in 3D. Like,
Ironically, Nintendo will release it again in 2045. So
I would actually say the Wii. Zeno's trying to trigger me at the Wii U comments. I say the Wii U is probably the worst console for hidden gems because most of the good games have been ported over to the Switch. Most of the, there's some games that are stuck there, some digital only.
Yeah, that
games,
Star Fox
but,
game. I don't care what anybody says. That game was fucking great. It was
Yeah.
amazing in my opinion.
There's some other console or handhelds that probably have a lot of good hidden gems, like the original PSP, the 3DS,
Oh, I got that.
the DS. Yeah.
Yeah. I was
But
never into the Nintendo handheld sphere, but I have
Oh.
a PSP and a Vita. I got into the 3DS. It's just I don't know. Like I honestly, my Vita got stolen. Long story short, I tried to replace it with a 3DS, like the XL, the new one that has a little thing on the side. It never scratched that itch for me. Then I went back to the Vita.
I will say this: one of my if you want to talk about like hidden gems, one of my favorite hidden gem games of all time is a Nintendo DS game called Hotel Dusk. And if you haven't heard of it or played it, by all means, do yourself a favor. If you have a DS, look it up, find it somewhere. I don't know if it's a rare game or expensive. I don't know, or you can get a ROM of it, maybe. Find it, play it. It is a ton of fun, especially if you're a fan of like old school PC style point and click games.
Okay.
So you were talking about the PSP, and before we go any further, I just want to, I don't know why, but I just had it right on the handy. This is the PSP 1000 series, right? The old one, you know, that you could, I don't know, snap open, I think.
Don't break it.
There's a latch. I forgot. There's a latch, right?
Yes, I thought it was
Okay. Then there's the PlayStation, or the 2000 series, which was
Oh
the
wow,
Boomer
yes.
model. And then there was the
Oh,
3000 series, which I think was one of the best. Now, there was one that only came out in Europe. It was called the Street Edition there, but the rest of the world called it an E Edition. This one's amazing. Now,
really?
here's the funny thing.
Esports edition.
No, the Street Edition. Street. And it was called E for Europe. Look at that. Look how it's not see-through. It's black.
It looks really durable.
Yeah. Also, it didn't go online or anything. It was totally the opposite of the all digital one. You could only play discs on.
Only
it. Oh, and the whole thing came out. See, the whole back.
Oh,
So
that's
it-
different. That's different.
Yeah, that's probably more.
Are you sure that's not
30.
broken?
No. Actually,
No, I'm just kidding,
I
I'm
had a
just
white
kidding.
one of this, but I gave it to
I got
OEVP.
this one, boy. I
yeah,
got
'cause,
this boy.
because he liked it, and I was like, man, I gotta share the love. So, anyways, that's my little collection of PSP.
Brian, is there any console like that Chris was saying? Oh, he's showing a console.
Max is like over here, Max.
Oh yeah, sweet. The
Yeah,
God of
I got
War
the
one.
God of War edition PSP.
Ooh.
Never
That's
got
2
rid of
weeks
it,
in a
love
row.
it.
He showed that off.
Yeah, that
No,
is-
that's not
Yeah,
2
but-
weeks in a row.
Yeah, it
motherfucker.
is. It is.
It's pretty
I
sweet,
talked
though.
about it, but I never
John,
showed
it's
it.
pretty
You showed
sweet.
it. You did show it. Listen,
What the fuck is in here? You know what?
You're the
What's in
one.
here?
You're
What's
the
in
one
here?
that starts out every episode drinking. You showed it last week too, bro.
It's Space Invaders is on here. It's Space Invaders Extreme.
Brian, is there any console that you're like, a little overrated?
I kind of agree with the N64. I did
Oh,
have one
oh.
for like. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like the standouts, like the Golden Eyes.
You
We
got
played
beef
that in
now.
the youth.
Just let you know.
We played that in the youth group. I mean, that was fun. A Perfect Dark when that game came out, we played the hell out of that. The Star Wars,
Rogue Squadron?
flight sims were amazing in those. But other than that, yeah, I didn't really like Mario 64. I didn't play it very often.
Going back to, I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. It was just one of those ones, and I was totally like in deep with PlayStation at that time. And
There's
the last,
a
handheld I had was PSP. But go ahead.
You're all
going back to Tommy Yumiko. He put a good comment in the chat. He's like, his N64 introduced us to Vaseline gaming. If you go on, there's a YouTube video out there somewhere. They essentially remove the anti-aliasing from the N64 and kind of go over some of the games, what they would have looked like. Because the reason why the N64 looked that way was because of the anti-aliasing they used. It was used to supposedly smooth out the picture, but just made it look fuzzy. If they wouldn't have used that, it would have looked a generation ahead of the PlayStation on some of the 3D stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, I foresee in the future once they get emulations getting better for N64, but I think eventually it's going to get really good when they.
Oh, it's good now. It's good now. You can like I use Mupen 64 and I can run the games at like 4 times the original resolution.
Are you thinking
can remove
N64
anything.
emulation is not good?
It's still sketchy on some.
It depends on what you're. It depends on what you're playing it
was.
on.
Yeah, a lot better than it was. Yeah.
It's
Have you
come a
tried
long
it
way.
on the original Wii?
I have on the
That
Wii
shit
U.
works pretty goddamn good.
But you're all wrong dunking on the N64. It had
I
Wave
agree.
Race. It had 1080
Star Fox
Snowboard,
64 is in
It
like one
had-
of my top 5.
It had the
games somewhere
first
in there.
Smash Brothers.
That-
It
that-
had
Star Wars Pod Racer.
It had Pod Racer.
Yeah, but the N64 version was the bad one. I'm sorry. It was better on Dreamcast.
It was a revolution. It had the Mario Tennis. It probably had Mario Golf.
Dude,
It had
listen, Mario Golf.
Party.
Whatever
I
Mario
played
game
Mario
now
Golf
is
for
today
hours.
is the game that spawned in 64. Whatever Mario game is today started on the
Extreme
64.
G.
That's what happened.
Turok.
I mean, outside of Mario 64, the only game that I really played a lot on it was like WCW NWO Revenge.
Oh, that was that shit.
that game was
that shit.
fun as hell.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
that was super,
the
super
wrestling
fun.
games.
Yes,
Wrestling games were
absolutely.
legit
The wrestling
on
games
the
were fun.
I was real into wrestling back
So
in
you're
the
all
day. Like,
wrong.
yeah.
You're all wrong.
Kamikaze, you named a lot of good stuff, but for me, N64, it didn't have any JRPGs or even a lot of
That's
RPGs.
true.
Quest 64.
That's what
the heck
killed
was
it.
that?
That's what killed
Yep.
the console for
Come
me.
on,
I
man.
mean,
It was Square.
Okay,
it was
but
Square.
again,
It was Square going to Sony.
Real talk. Let me say this. My
Real
first
talk.
introduction into JRPG, and you're gonna like, oh, this motherfucker was Final Fantasy VII. That was my first introduction. So
Yeah, that was a lot of people's first introduction.
yeah. So
it's fine.
so to me, that's what like that's where I started from. So like, I
Mhm.
wasn't
That was on the
necessarily missing
PlayStation,
out.
not the
You know what I mean?
N64.
The sports games on the N64 were garbage.
Oh, you think?
I could say
Yeah.
yes. I'd rather play them bitches on Dreamcast.
Oh, no, the Blitz on there was pretty good. The
I think,
arcade
yeah,
sporting game.
it's so interesting. Each of these consoles kind of have their genre that they dominate in. Like, the PlayStation was better at, JRPGs.
Everything.
And well, no, because I do think that the
Wow.
Dreamcast was better at sports games.
Yeah,
the
well,
Dreamcast was better at sports games.
Dreamcast was
Yeah.
next gen. You got to put that, I think, in with like the sixth gen categories.
I guess. Technically speaking, yes, but it kind of lived in that same era as to me it did, at least. Maybe my
To
recollection.
the
is a
ass
little
end,
off.
it did. No, you're right. I mean, because it came out in '99,
Yeah.
and then we didn't see PS2 until 2000. Was it 2001? I think November.
I think late
2001?
2000. I thought it was 2000.
No. Yeah, no, you might be right. You might be right. I think
Yeah.
it's late 2000, but nobody could get them at the time, so it was
Yeah.
like,
I got
it's like they
mine.
didn't really exist, but they did. And then you had the rumors about the military using all the PlayStations for their
Yeah,
They're,
Saddam Hussein
their
buying
stuff,
all the PlayStation 2s to do some sort of Scud missile.
Yo, was that really a thing?
Yes, it was.
That was a thing. I remember.
Yeah, of
That's
course
great.
it's false, but who knows? Hey,
Ogre battles.
just to reiterate the greatness of PlayStation 2, you got the Xena Saga.
We get it, Michael. We get it.
All right, well, I'm
I'm,
just
I'm,
saying.
I'm joking with you. Keep going. Keep
Xena
going.
Saga 1, and then 2, which was terrible, but 3 was one of the best.
Yo,
And I don't know
I have
why.
2, and you know why? Because I found it at Goodwill, and I don't even know why. I just bought
Oh,
it. It was like,
I wanted to,
$2,
I wanted
and
to
they were like,
mention
yo.
something else. Sorry, just put me up one more time.
Ah.
This is sealed. This isn't my copy. When you pre-ordered
stole
Xena
it.
Saga 2,
Okay.
this was Xena Saga 1, all of the cutscenes, and it was about a 5-hour long thing. It's like a movie.
So is that a DVD?
Yeah, it's a DVD.
Okay.
But it was a pre-order bonus. I actually just gave away mine, but then I found this for $15. I was like, I got to get it back, but it's sealed. And if I ever want to watch the cutscenes, I just play the games.
Right, Cyber Styles. I don't know what the
Shadows of the
GoldenEye,
Empire sucked.
Shadows of the Empire was
Shadows of
fun.
the Empire? No, who said that?
It's
Who
fun.
said that?
Pod
Who
Racer,
said
Mario
that?
Kart
Who
64.
said
Cyber
that?
Silius or Sillies.
Cyber-
We're
That shit
not
was
saying the
great.
N64 didn't have good games, because it did, but when you take it on like a grand scale of games, it had
But that's not fair to do. You got to take it in the retrospect of what it is and what it did.
You know what else
Okay.
is another hidden gem for the Game Boy Advance? Sonic Advance. No one talks about.
Oh
this
yeah,
game.
that's it. It's
Oh, that's a
actually a
good
really
game.
good. Well, yeah, I played that actually.
it's better than Sonic CD. So
Well, I don't know about that.
What's
but
the one with Blade?
Bro, do you eat paint chips? Did you live under power lines? What are you talking about? You're wrong on all
But it-
levels.
But they also tried a
No,
lot.
why do you
more-
ask?
The levels were refreshing in the Game Boy Advance series because they did like different themes than you got in the OG trilogy. And most of the new games they basically do homages to the old themes like Casino, Green Zone. But there's like a beach and stuff here. Awesome game. I had a lot of fun playing this. See?
Yeah, that's a good game. That's a good game.
But no one really gives this love. There's a lot of hidden gems there.
The Game Boy Advance was a great system, because then you could play Super Nintendo quality stuff, you
Yeah.
know, on the
Well,
handheld, which wasn't possible before.
The handhelds are always a decade behind to a degree. It's like if you got like the Steam Deck, it's like it's able to play PS4 and Xbox or PS3 and 360 games.
Man,
the
I had-
Vita is playing PS3 games like when you have a PS4. Everything, all the handhelds are always just a decade behind.
When I was deployed, I had a Game Boy Advance, and if I wouldn't have had that thing, I would have gone crazy, man. I had the SP because I remember the SP came out right before I went on deployment, like a month before I went out on deployment, and I just had that little thing in my pocket all the time, dude. Anytime I sit down, play some Mario, play some Sonic, play some crazy. I remember playing Crazy Taxi on that thing. Like,
What's a Crazy Taxi on the GBA?
yep.
Was there?
No, pull it up, Max.
Okay.
It looks
I didn't know
actually because I think the Game Boy Advance is actually 32-bit, if I remember right. I mean, it doesn't do it great.
oh,
Yeah,
Michael,
it is
Michael left.
32-bit.
He probably his connection was bad. Probably
It is 32-bit, but yeah, if you could pull that, and the Tony Hawk was on there too.
Oh shit!
You want me to pull up what?
Pull up Crazy Taxi on the Game Boy Advance.
Crazy Taxi.
Yeah,
Was that first WarioWare game? Was that Game Boy Advance or was that DS?
I don't know that one.
Does it have the
was-
soundtrack? That's all I need to know. about that
I've
game.
actually been going deep diving on the Game Boy Advance. The company
Question
that
I pulled
made
up
the
on the
Wario
store.
games had some weird Rhythm Heaven type game. And
Yeah, I remember
then,
that one,
and,
yeah.
and then that's the same company that eventually did the WarioWare.
WarioWare was like that was a extreme addiction for me when it first came out. Like that was kind of like a proto iPhone game before the iPhone existed. But it was super addicting.
I've never played the Crazy Taxi on the Game Boy Advance.
It was Game Boy
Yeah, I gotta see this shit. I didn't even know it existed.
What? That's crazy.
No, dude, I'm telling you, it's not.
Oh, yo.
that bad. Yo.
Yeah, but for a Game Boy
No,
Advance game, this is
okay,
pretty
you're
good.
looking at it on a big
Right.
screen,
I
Chris.
get
Like,
it.
It doesn't look bad for a Game Boy Advance game. Not
squeeze
at
this
all.
down to like a 3-inch screen. It actually played really well at the
It
time.
looks great. What are you talking about? Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'd like to play it. Here's
Game
the
Boy Advance?
yeah,
Jesus
that looks
Christ.
pretty good. Does it have the Offspring song?
I don't remember. I'm trying to pull it up now to check to see if I can pull it up.
Here's one that I was surprised how good it looked, which I want to try. I didn't try it yet. Hold on. Wait till you see the graphics on this for a driving game. I was like, wow, the Game Boy Advance is doing this? Hold on. All right, let me see if I could.
Excuse me.
Nice.
Carthar mentions 1080 snowboarding on N64, and I remember that one because there was a
Borders is
weird.
better, man. Cool borders all the way.
There was a weird period where all of a sudden everybody wanted to make snowboarding games, and everybody had
Yeah,
their own
there's-
version.
There's one on the Saturn too called Steep
Yeah.
Slope, and there's
Steep
even one on the
Slope Sliders.
Jaguar. Yeah.
I remember.
Look at this V
is
Rally.
RSX.
Look
Oh,
at look
wow.
at this V Rally 3 on the Game Boy Advance. Look how smooth it is.
Oh, that looks.
That
pretty
actually looks
slick.
really good.
It looks like
Yeah.
almost like Sega Rally a little bit, but and there's an in the car cockpit view as well.
Whoa.
Look at that.
But this
That's
is actually
really
very, very
smooth.
good. Game Boy Advance, I mean,
I
when it
want to
came
play
out,
this next. Look
no one
at
could
that.
imagine it could do this kind of graphics. Look at that.
Well, the
For
Super-
GBA, that's impressive.
Yeah,
that
that's good
is
for
impressive.
GBA.
Right?
that's when I was looking at games. I was like, I gotta try this. Look at this in-car view. I mean, I actually would prefer this.
Yeah,
Oh, they had
rating.
an yeah, that's
wow.
that's impressive. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's cool. I like it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
wouldn't
gonna
play it, but it's
I was
impressive.
just
Oh
happy
yeah,
to
I
play
love rally
Final
games.
Fantasy games on the handheld when GBA came out. That's all I cared about.
Okay, let me see, Michael.
Hey, could someone? I don't know how to do it. 'cause
I'll do it. I bring it up here. Let me see.
No, that's just my channel. If,
Oh.
if you could throw it in the chat, because I tried to put it in chat, but that's when I
Sure.
got kicked out. Everybody thinks I'm E King. Well, if you like E King so much, I don't even know who he is. Why don't you subscribe to my channel?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Gee, I'm famous. Jeez.
Oh
I only
yeah.
got 35 people on my channel. Come on here. You know, got 58 videos. Come on. Let's get 58 people.
Oh, actually, please, if you would so kind, I'm actually starting to do more on Twitch now.
Which is good.
Oh, you're coming after my territory.
I
please.
got you. I'll subscribe to you, man.
Yeah,
Thank
here's
you so much.
I'm up to
I
24
hate to like
followers.
e-bag or whatever it's called, but for God's sake, you
Oh
know?
no, I'm all about that eBay.
You know what's crazy, Darby?
You
Mike,
got
you know
no
what's,
shame. You got no shame.
No, I don't care. You know,
I don't
you know
mind.
what's crazy, Mike? I would subscribe to your channel, but I wasn't getting notifications.
hold
So
on.
I just went back and bookmarked the channel, so I know not to
I'll be right
forget.
back. The dogs are
Oh,
driving
that's
crazy.
fine. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm new to all this, so maybe I have.
Bro, you got
the-
an Amazon delivery
Is
late.
that E King's new channel? Yeah, it's E King's new channel. Go
Domino's?
subscribe to it.
Domino's? No.
Hey, while he's away, let's talk a little bit more about some hidden gems on the PlayStation 2. Kinetica. I don't know how many controllers I ruined with this, but what it is it's a racing game where your body is the actual bike, and then you just have wheels. You hold on to the wheels. I know it sounds weird. When you jump, you have to do like moves, kind of like a Street Fighter moves. And
I'm more
it
interested in
boosts
how
your
you ruined
system.
your controllers. How did you ruin your controllers? Did you break them? Did you stand them?
Yeah,
Did you fucking suplex
the
them? Did you
thumbsticks are
throw
like-
them to the wall?
basically you're madly like moving the sticks around so much that they kind of break. So I used to think this game, and then there was another game that I thought was definitely for ruining controllers. It was, let me see if I can find it.
Not ruining
Marcus-
isn't like with your anger, but like
No, not with your
actual
anger,
gameplay.
just trying to do
Okay.
the move.
because I only ruin controllers with my anger.
Oh, I don't throw controllers. I try to cherish them. Mark of Cree. This was a cool game. It had a unique thing where you could target people, and then the people
I
turned
love
into
that
like
game,
a
Mark of
triangle
Cree.
or square or X, and then you
Yeah,
could
it
basically
is.
lay combos on them. So the camera wouldn't move. You would be able to fight somebody behind you or in front of you because they're all assigned a different button. So, anyways.
Yeah, that you could get on the PlayStation
Network,
digital
yeah.
store still.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
get a
for
couple
sure.
of them.
Yeah, Crazy Taxi.
The
Okay.
begging is real. Yes.
I didn't beg too much today.
No, they're saying me. I was begging.
Oh no.
Listen,
Well, I subscribe to you, man. I subscribe to you.
Okay.
yeah, no, I don't like begging, but my goodness, I've been 2.5 months and almost 60 videos, and it's still.
Bro, it'd be like that. It'd be like that
It's
sometimes.
tough, dude. I don't know how new content creators do it, man. It was, I don't know.
It's really, you can't plan to grow. It just is, you get lucky.
It'd be like
Look,
that sometimes.
The seriousness of it is,
really
if
do.
I did switch to drama, I'd get more clicks. But I don't know. I have a hard time.
Here's a shmup that I just started
that's
trying
easy.
out. It's hard though. I had to put it on easy. I keep dying.
What's this called, Max?
Invader. It was only released in Europe, I think.
Sweet, I can't write that down. I
But
love
it
shmup.
has some decent music too. Let me see.
I'm gonna say something real controversial, and y'all ain't gonna like it.
What?
PS3 is garbage.
What?
Just in general?
PS3, I had some games on it that I really liked, that were really good. But overall, the PS3, in my opinion, was probably the worst system. I can't say worst, but it was a system that I absolutely regretted
probably
buying and spent the less time with ever.
It was probably, as far as a home console goes, I think it was sales wise. I don't think it was the worst. No, it might have been. I don't know. I'm curious what sold more,
One of my
PS3 or
Favorite
PS1.
consoles of all time.
Well,
PS3
PS3
was the
sold
lowest.
a
PS3
lot,
really?
I love my
80 million.
PS3.
but the
I don't think it'd be
PS3,
PS1 or PS2 is my point.
the PS3
Did,
the
all right,
PS3 had a
anybody
lot of
who's saying that you
shovelware
love your
on it.
PS3, did you have an Xbox 360? That's my only question.
Oh yeah,
I
I
did.
I had
did.
both. I had
I had
both.
Okay.
And I played my
Okay.
PS3. My Xbox kind of rotted away. And that's
I
not
crapped
like
out.
a
I still have
that's
my
not a-
Did
PS3.
you have the red ring? Was that why?
critique of.
No,
No, I did.
No,
How
I
many?
was just joking.
Oh, how
Kamikaze,
many?
when did
I've
you
had
buy
like
your PS3?
four of them. Red Ring.
I got my PS3 way after both of them launched. And I tried, long story short, I tried to replace my PS3 with a 360 when I was already dick into the fucking 360.
Uh-huh.
And it didn't do it for me. It didn't do it for me. And it wasn't like I was against it. I gave it a fair try, but everything was just against it for me. It's just the UI, everything. It had good games. I loved a lot of the games that came with it, like a lot of the exclusives, of course. But 360 at that time, it just eclipsed it to me. Even when I didn't have a 360 and only played PS3, it did nothing for me. Absolutely nothing for me.
Yeah, that was the generation I stopped. PlayStation 2 was my favorite, and I stopped. And my kids wanted a 360, so we switched over to Xbox. And the time I got a PlayStation 3 was actually the Super Slim, the one people call a George Foreman grill.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really small. It came out. I bought it the day that The Last of Us came out, so you can look that up. I don't know when that was, but the reason why I liked it so much at that point is because it was cheap. I when it first came out, being $600 or whatever it was, that's crazy.
Bought it.
That was stupid. Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, I'm stupid. I bought it and I loved it.
Also,
And I
How many
still have
gigabytes
that-
did it have in it? How many gigabytes?
I don't know.
Yeah. Also,
Nothing,
when you
I'm
buy
sure.
it like late like that, you can get brand new games for $10 and $20. So for like $100, I got a whole library of games. I got Disgaea 3, 4. I got Heavy Rain. The kids love that one. I got just a ton of games. I got some Atelier games. So yeah, but I would agree with you. PlayStation 3 was kind of a letdown after the PlayStation 2. If anybody wants to know, that's the slim one. That's the second version, right? Yeah.
Still use it.
I got the fat boy that's back compat with everything.
It was the lowest selling Sony console. It sold 80 million, and as well as 360 sold around 80 million. And
Don't get me
the Wii
wrong. I love my
beat them out.
PS1. I love my PS2.
Yeah.
When it came to PS3, it's just like I feel like it was the oddball, and it just completely.
I would take the PS3 over the PS2 because it plays
I-
on.
I will say there is one.
If you have
Not
the
all
right
of them.
version.
Not all.
If you
of
have the
them.
right
Not all of
version.
them.
Yeah, you
I
have
have
to
the
have
fat
the
boy.
earlier
I have the
version for
OG
PS2.
one.
If you have a modded PlayStation 3, I bought one from some guy, and he gave me about 2,000 or 2,500 PlayStation 1 games. That's all it is in there. It's just my PlayStation 1 machine.
That's
So
what
I-
my PS3 was. Like I really played more PS1 games on it,
Yeah.
especially once they started putting out a lot of rare stuff
Yeah.
on the PlayStation Network. It was like, oh, okay, cool. This is my PlayStation machine now.
And you, with a modded one, you can upload any game from Europe, Japan, and America, and it stores it. The only thing is it's kind of slow to load, but once you're in the game, you can play it. So that's what I use mine for. So
One of the best OG backwards compatible consoles right out the box. It did 3D.
Again,
You know,
out of
'cause
the box, depending on which version you
Blu-ray.
bought.
Yeah. Blu-ray player.
Now it is single-handedly responsible for killing the HD DVD and like
Yes, it is. I had one of
making
those
Blu-ray
fuckers,
the
man.
standard. Like
I had one
Blu-ray-
of those HD DVDs.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah,
I
how
went
much-
out, I bought the attachment, man. I had the little, there was even, Xbox even made like this surround sound system you could hook up.
Oh,
Dude,
man.
I had it all, man.
That's like the laser disc now.
Yeah.
Here's another game that I just started playing. Another Turtles hidden gem on the Game Boy Advance.
I think Max just wanted to show off his Game Boy Advance.
No, I got excited because I accidentally clicked this one by accident because I was like, I wanted to play the one that's like a beat 'em up, and this is still like a beat 'em up, but
He's
great
built. Look at that.
animation.
Jeez.
I'm loving some Turtles games that I didn't know about. You know,
All right, who's your favorite turtle? Everybody got to answer. Who's your favorite turtle?
Raphael,
Oh, Michelangelo.
Who's this guy?
Leonardo.
Michelangelo.
Yeah, I like him. I like the two swords.
Leonardo's my favorite turtle, hands down.
This is from the
I
TMNT.
always like Raphael. He's a little bit of a smart ass.
I thought you liked Donatello, man. You fronting, man. You lying.
Let me bring up.
You're asking me to
If
go
you wanna-
back who I liked when I was like 6 years old, Chris.
Bro,
I don't-
all right, right now, so you like Raphael. That's your guy right now, like whatever age you're at.
Yeah, I guess.
If we want to talk
I still
about
fuck with Leonardo. I still fuck with
Hold on.
Leonardo.
It really depends on what game I'm playing, man. Like,
Bro, it's
that's
the
really-
fucking no. I didn't ask what game you're playing. I'm asking who's your favorite turtle. Like you was there.
No, it was
I
it was
there.
Raphael. It was Raphael.
Always
It was,
Raphael?
it was always Raphael. I always liked
Okay.
him.
Who's he? The nunchuck guy?
No, he's the.
That's
size.
Michelangelo.
He's the one with the
Here's
size.
here's the same game you're
Bro,
in a
kick him out.
store.
Kick him out of the chat. Did he just say what I think he said? No, get out of here.
This is a fun level.
Oh,
It's just like it's like
this is
finding-
cool. This is like the fucking turtle fucking
Turtle van or
gunboat shit.
yeah. Right. That's like finding a whole hidden another Super Nintendo. I'm like, wow, there's so many great games there.
So Michael was showing off his PS2 games. I'm gonna show off my favorite random weirdo games from my PlayStation collection. And the first couple aren't so random or weird. If you like JRPGs,
Yes.
this one
Rogue
is an
Galaxy.
absolute
That's
must.
sealed?
No idea what
You
that
can
is.
get that on the PSN network. Yeah, it's
That's
great.
sealed?
No, this isn't sealed. Of course not. I play all my shit.
Oh.
Like this game is fucking fun though. It has a
it
phenomenal
looked
soundtrack.
It looked shiny. I thought there was still plastic on it.
Oh yeah, that's just
You
the
could
light.
have two copies, one sealed, one not.
Also, this one, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And a great story, and also a really cool soundtrack. Like if you like games like Star Ocean, then I definitely recommend this one. I actually like this series a lot more than Star Ocean. But the other two random weird games, and I remember I was working at GameStop at the time, and I saw these in the bargain bin, and I was like, "What the hell?" Like, I'll check it out and see what it is. And these are such random weird games. Disaster Report and Raw Danger. Like, just look at the
Raw
box art.
danger.
Look at like Raw Danger, and then look at the character art. Like, it looks so generic and so cheesy.
Yeah, that's the best.
I was like, I have to see what this game is about. And oddly enough, like they are as weird as it looks, but they're fun. It's kind of like playing one of those disaster movies like San Andreas or The Day After Tomorrow. Like it's like that. And it has like a lot of puzzles you have to solve and like the quick time events and all of that. And in isolation, that kind of sounds stupid. But when you actually play it, it's as cheesy as any of those bad B movies, but a lot of fun. So I recommend if you could find them. I think they're on eBay and they're not expensive at all. Those are good ones to just have around.
Mm-hmm. Star
Man,
Ocean.
I sold about 80 PS2 games. I didn't have anything crazy about 3 years ago because I just didn't play my PS2, man. And when I did, I just emulated it on my PC because it looks so much better. But
Yeah,
I still like
All
playing
right.
my consoles though.
All right, we're getting serious here now.
oh boy.
You know Kirsten Dunst, right? She did a movie, Kenya, The Prophecy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, little known, in Japan, they actually came out with a video game of the movie. Never came out in America. Although the movie came out in America, the video
Yeah.
game never did. So I got that.
Wow.
I've not heard of that.
Yeah, well, hidden gems, right? Have you ever heard of what is it called? Onichi Chambaro. It's this samurai girl game, and she wears a bikini.
Now I'm
It's kind of-
interested.
Yeah, well, okay. It actually started out as a cheap game, and this is actually, see, when you buy stuff from Japan, they actually wrap it. This isn't like sealed copies.
Mhm.
So they actually had these cheap 2,000 yen. That's $20. There was this one, and then there was another one, and another one. Here's a good picture of her. See, she's got her bikini. And
Oh,
she's
yeah.
got a cowboy hat, and then her sister is the other one down below. So there's those, and then I told you about Atelier. Well, this game is not a real game. This was actually made for me. It's the Atelier 1 and 2, the first two games from PlayStation 2. They launched it on PlayStation 1. They launched it on PlayStation 2, but they never had it in English. This is the English. So somebody modded this and got me the English so I can play it in English. So this isn't a real game. This is a modded. I do have a modded PlayStation 2 so I can play these kind of games, but everything else is real. Like these other two ones are real Atelier games. They're in Japanese. But
Wow,
anyways,
that's a pretty epic collection there, man.
yeah, this is just a little bit of junk.
A lot of my stuff is in storage. I have to go back. I've been trying to go through my OG Xbox and 360 to see what's backwards compatible and start playing them on my Series X because I like that program.
Yeah.
Let me see what else I had.
If you ever like backwards compatibility, getting a Wii is really cheap, and then you can get GameCube games because it plays the Wii, and then you can get these Chinese knockoff versions of the Wavebird. You get 2 of them for $20. So if one of them breaks, and then you can play all your Wii games.
I have my
games.
Wii. I have a modded Wii U that my wife got me because she knew I wanted it, and you could put GameCube games on it. Although I figured out how to add new games, and then all of a sudden it stopped. The old games that I did work, but the new games crash when I put them on.
Yeah, I have one with a hard drive with
Thanks, Jeffrey.
ill-gotten gains. Let's just
That was
say.
John.
What's your favorite gen? Hands down. What's your favorite gen? Got to call it.
PlayStation 2.
360. That era.
Yeah, PS3.
Yo, I agree with you. 360 is my favorite, man.
Yeah,
Well, no, I lied.
That was the Wii era too. Yeah.
360.
Yeah, I would say 7th gen with 360 and PS3.
Gen, everything was great. Everything was fucking great.
Yeah.
Everything was.
I was
great.
super
Well,
disinterested
before-
in gaming during that gen for whatever reason. Like I'm partial to the 32-bit era.
I'll say
Oh,
this.
okay.
For the PlayStation 2 era, you had PlayStation 2, you had the first Xbox, so they were really going hard. You also had the GameCube, which I personally think all of the best, like I said, Mario, Zelda games are all on that. And then also, like John said, you have the Dreamcast started it off. So, I mean, you had everything. Those were, if you had one of those consoles, you had a great console back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, unless you had a
I
Dreamcast,
never
because they
had-
stopped making games for it. But
I never
Yeah,
had the
but you always
passion.
Shut
I never
up,
had.
John.
I never
Shut
had
up,
the
John.
passion for like the generational battles though that I had like back in the 32-bit era. And there was just so much more creative game design going on because
Yeah.
people were trying to figure out what the fuck to do with the PlayStation. Like you could do.
but there
all
was
of
a
these
lot of growing
crazy-
pains with that too. That's
There
the
were.
the way I answer this question is like, okay, what would I go back to and play the most if I had to pick one? And from my personal experience, for me, like I would agree. I love the 5th gen. Like I play a lot of PlayStation games and a lot of Saturn, but there's like a lot of broken shit on those consoles because like especially a lot of the 3D games, and you only had one analog stick for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, camera
Until the
control was
joysticks
an
came out.
issue.
Like
Right.
Ape Escape is still better than most platforming games.
Spyro is phenomenal. Spyro holds up. Ape Escape holds up. You know, I don't know. It's tough. I would probably say 7th just because I feel like there was a lot of good games still. There was a lot of, interesting art development going on and creativity that we don't have today. But, and that's still before microtransactions. I mean, they kind of
Yeah.
started in that gen, but it wasn't as bad as it is now, you know.
What are you guys' current favorites of the current gen? And the last 2 gens, I guess.
Mine easily, even though I like the experience on the PlayStation 5 with the controller, I love the feed. I like the haptic feedback and I think it's a great experience. There's still not a lot of new great games. I like the whole experience about Series X and backwards compatibility and Game Pass and indie game scene is really solid. Like you could get some homages to classic games. Which I have a few games that I'm looking at that I'm going to bring up here too. Some things that were announced, but also I'll bring this up. If anyone has a PlayStation, they announced the PlayStation games Jedi Fallen Order, which I got to go back and play that game. I didn't beat it yet. I got to go back.
Ooh, Axiom Verge 2 is on there.
Yeah,
That's
Axiom Verge
great. That's
2. That's and Fallout 76. I could leave or take it, but these two. I got to go back and play that game.
Fallen Order is a great game. It's a great
Who
game.
here's beat that game?
Fallen
I
Order
have.
did.
It's,
I was just about to
I
buy it.
beat
It's
it.
$5 on Steam, but if it's going to be free, I might as well not buy
It is one of the best Well, there's a lot of Star Wars games, so I know I'm speaking crazily when I say this, but I think it's probably up there, if not the best. It's great. It's fantastic.
It's a rarity that I actually beat that game because it's basically just Star Wars Dark Souls, and I really hate Dark Souls. But
That's a fair.
I
That's
do-
fair. That's fair
How
to say.
dare
that.
you, sir? How dare you?
No,
Yeah, it's
it
one of my
kinda
most
is,
hated
John. It kinda
games.
is.
I agree with you.
It's probably
So
'cause
if
you
you
suck
like
at
it,
it.
then I must like it. 'cause
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
like it.
Here's
It's
the-
tough, but it's not that fucking hard. It's not
Here's
that
a new indie game that's got a retro feel that really looks great. And I you know what bugs me is the indie games that purposely have bad graphics to make it indie. Like I like it when they try a little bit with the art.
I don't mind. I don't mind when they use the throwback graphics. I have an issue
No, I like
when they.
throwback graphics. It's just when they make it extremely dumbed down. It's like, oh, this is retro.
I have an issue when they put dumb shit in there, like blowback that was on the original Castlevania. Like if you get hit, you get knocked back. I hate when they add shit like that.
What's this, Max?
This is a game called Gravity Circuit
Huh.
that I think was just announced. That looks sort of like a.
Oh, those are good clean graphics.
It looks like Beautiful Joe almost, or at least the character does.
Beautiful Joe for the NES. Yeah. That was another GameCube game that came out. Beautiful Joe.
I like the art style here. It's got enough visual flair to get me excited there.
That looks
Uh,
amazing.
Sort of
That's pretty
like
cool.
Mega Man 2.
See, I gotta stop buying games. Max, you're tempting me with these.
That's like
games.
a $2 game for me. If that was like $2, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
I love that type of stuff.
you just put up
That's
that
cool.
Axiom Verge is going to be free. I shouldn't admit this. Probably my girlfriend will hear this, but I bought it when it was exclusive to Epic Game Store, and I yet to even download it. That was like 4 months ago. I haven't even downloaded it. Why'd I even buy it? Oh well. Yeah, I have a problem.
Yeah, I've had problems too. Oh, here's another one that I'm looking forward to. I love fighting games. Now, I prefer when they really go hardcore with the 2D graphics, but every once in a while, a company will come out and do like the Pocket style fighting game. This one's called Pocket Bravery. Looks pretty cool. Let me see here. It's got there's a Neo Geo game that I like called Breaker's Revenge, and it's going to have characters from that in it too. But this looks like fun. It's not like super impressive, but there's good animation. And I actually went as far as to looking up the developer interviews. They're like, "Oh, we were going to go like Third Strike type graphics, but we realized we would never release the game because it would take too long."
That's a bold statement. You compare that to Third Strike.
No. This isn't. They changed the style because they're like, if we do Third Strike, we'll never be able to release this game on this small team. It's going to take too long. It took like 6 months for one character.
Okay.
So so they changed it up in this style. They could do less frames of animation and actually get the game out. So, I'm looking forward to that as well. All right. Well, we don't have to go the full 2 hours. So, any other topics we want to cover or talk about what your plans are? I know John's busy with his pre-record vids, some Sega Saturn vids. Maybe another quick question would be, what's a system that you eventually want to get to that's on your to-do list that you haven't really deep dived on yet, that you're like, okay, maybe I want to get into this?
As far as just playing?
Yeah, playing or record content, or like, I've always wanted to get into this. I just haven't done it yet.
I mean, as far as playing, I played everything. I haven't,
okay.
But as far as covering on my channel, my next video is going to be a PlayStation video, a PS1 video. Sort of. It's going to be I'm trying something a little bit different. I'm doing community polls, and then my videos are based off the community polls. So I'll ask a random question, and then we'll make a video on it. This one is who had better sports games, Genesis or PS1? And people will immediately go Sega Genesis. It's not even a competition. That's what people will say. But if you really start thinking about it and deep diving into the games that are on PlayStation and Genesis, and not just like football, baseball, but you look at stuff like Cool Borders, Tony Hawk Pro Skater. It's a sports game. Tony Hawk's a sports games.
Mhm.
Like, is Genesis really better?
I would have
So we
never
talk
thought
about stuff
Genesis.
like that.
Well, I also too. would
I
think
say
that-
well, you have to watch the video to see what I think, but
yeah.
I think it's a lot closer than what people think it should be.
I
Fair
like
enough.
the 16.
Genesis is running away with it on the poll.
I love the
Crazy.
NHL and I love that style of sport game.
Like
I
the
prefer
reason why, you know, video game culture, nerd culture in general has become so insanely mainstream as it is today is because of the popularity of the PlayStation. You know, that was the system that really put gaming into like the mainstream, where all of a sudden the cool kids were playing games, not just the, you know, the victims of bullies, and a big component to that were the sports games on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
You know, those games popped the fuck off. And like
Game Day 99.
rappers were
Oh.
rappers were talking about Game Day and Madden on the PlayStation. NBA, or what was it? Was it well, Jam was a little earlier. I can't remember which one was on the PlayStation.
It
But
was
like
NBA
a lot
Live.
of those games. Was it
NBA
NBA Live?
Live.
Yeah, NBA Live.
NBA
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah, like
Funny
Then
how
you had
that's
all
one
the
of
college games too,
And the college
that was
games,
like the when all the college games kind of started to pop off.
yeah.
You know, I had
like-
one of my favorite basketball games was a college basketball game. I can't remember which one it was. They played the shit out of that game, dude. I didn't even really like. I never played basketball games on the 16-bit era except for NBA Jam.
yeah,
But
same.
I played the shit out of that college game, man.
Like everybody in my high school had a PlayStation, but I was the only one, like maybe me and like a couple of my friends that were like playing role-playing games on them. You know, everybody else was all about the sports titles.
Yeah.
So like the idea that people are you know in mass voting for the
Yeah.
Genesis in that lineup, I must have missed something in the Genesis collection. Like I'm gonna watch a video for certain. I want to know what Genesis games are stacking up against the PlayStation ones.
It was
It's
NCAA
because-
Final Four was the one that I had.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the March.
Yeah, I
Madness
forgot about
series
those
and
college
Final
football
Four.
games. Yeah, those were the shit.
Yeah.
Brian,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Because
Vin.
it's because of that Joe Montana football.
Oh,
That's
okay,
what
yeah,
did
that's
it.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Joe Montana.
Sports talk.
'Cause I love that
Sports
game.
Talk, football.
And what quarterback club? NFL quarterback club?
Yeah, see, and that was my game. My game was NFL Quarterback Club because you had like little challenges you could do, little mini
Yeah.
games on the side. I thought
Also,
that
that
was cool.
hockey game on the Genesis.
NHL '94.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're better on PlayStation, man. They're just
Well,
so
here's
much.
the
I had it
thing.
on Super
I
Nintendo.
remember-
Better.
I remember that's when the senators were talking about Mortal Kombat, and then they removed like heavy checking and fighting from the NHL games. And
So
they added
stupid.
it back.
Mortal Kombat. But you know what's funny is like
They had it where you could
Yeah.
like knock the shit out of people in NHL, and then they removed it one year, and then they put it back because
Mhm.
people complained.
PlayStation like challenged Madden. You know what I mean? Like they did their own studio, and now it's just no one is allowed to have the rights to NFL except for Madden.
Yeah, it's
I think
bullshit.
Yeah,
You don't have no
that's-
more 2K series or anything. It sucks.
Yeah,
It really
was the
sucks.
best.
Competition.
2K was the
I think
best.
competition's better. I think it's much better. I think you get a lot better quality. Why don't we have better quality? Why do we have to look back to them? It's because of competition, you know.
Everything sucks nowadays, dude. It's just the way it
And then,
is.
and then PlayStation,
Unfortunately.
PlayStation go head to head with everybody, but now they're whining and complaining about one studio getting.
Well, what would the current systems be without the indie game scene, like doing homages to old classic games and stuff? There's so many besides the AAAs right now.
Yeah,
Man,
that's a large. Nostalgia is a large factor for a lot of people our age.
Well, a lot of the creativity now is coming out of indie devs because they essentially don't have anything to lose. You look at stuff like Ubisoft, Square. They're not gonna risk risk putting out a new IP or a new type of game that flops. Why would they do that when they know, we could just put out another Assassin's Creed game and it's going to do X amount of games, regardless of how good it is or not. So they always it costs so much money. These big AAA devs are always going to take the safe route now. So, and that's why I've switched.
It's so
to
sad.
PC
No one
gaming this gen because as a gamer, there's
will
more
take
options.
a creative effort nowadays. It
And there
sucks.
are a lot of good indie devs kind of exploring that market and creating newer games, different types of games. They're the ones taking the risk, and we're getting a lot of good games out of it. Now, at that same time, we also get a lot of shit on. There's a lot of shit on Steam.
Yeah.
I always have a thing I say: for every one good game, there's you got to crawl through, 20 piles of shit to get to it. So.
I'm gonna do a little bit of pushback on that, just based off of my own personal experience. Because for a while I did work at EA, and I worked at BioWare during a period of time when there was a lot of tumult going on within our studios. And I remember at the time we had just launched Star Wars: The Old Republic, and we had a ton of people working at our studios because we just ramped up to get that game out the door. And then usually in the game industry, you release a game, you lay a ton of people off. But our general manager didn't want to lay people off. He was actually a decent human being, was like, I want to keep these guys around employed. So we started to implement a development cycle where, our studio with all of our employees would be working on a number of different titles simultaneously so that when one gets shipped, then people can roll over to the next, and they would be at various stages of development so that, it's cyclical. And one of the titles that we were working on was a title called Shadow Realm. I have a video about this on my channel too. Shadow Realms was the idea was a 4v1 D&D style game, built on the Frost. It was one of the first iterations of a game using the Frostbite engine that wasn't a dice game. And we prototyped it, and it was cool, and the execs loved it. And they gave us the green light to keep developing it. We announced it at Gamescom and all this sort of stuff. And the big draw of the game from the business side was that it was a kind of a mid-budget game. It wasn't a AAA game. It didn't require the kind of financing that a Star Wars or something would require. So we thought that this would be safer for the people working there to develop on, because it's not a super high risk investment. During one of our last approval processes that we had to go through to get the execs to sign off on us developing the game, they decided, even though they were super stoked about the game, they were amped about it all the way up to this point, they went, nope, we're going to cancel it. We're going to cancel the game. We've decided that EA's business model is going to be a focus on AAA blockbuster games. We want to make big games because those games we have determined are the ones that get us the biggest financial reward. AAA blockbuster games sell, and they want that ROI. So ended up having to fire a bunch of people anyways, and it killed studio morale, etc., all of that sort of stuff. But the thing is, they weren't down on the idea of making new IPs. They like the idea of creating new IPs. And they did, which is part of the reason why up until that point, they were very supportive of us. Shadow Realms was a new IP, and they thought they were excited about it. They were excited about the idea of having a franchise that, we might be able to branch out and do other things from this, Shadow Realms sequels or maybe even a movie or toys and this and that. The idea of having something else that they could branch off of that wasn't, dependent on being licensed by the NFL or by FIFA or something like that, which is their big cash cows. So they're not down on the idea of creating new IPs. What they're down on is creating a game that isn't guaranteed to sell 200 million copies on day one. And that's really what kills game development.
That was kind of my point. I mean, that was exactly what my point was they're because they're, like I said, an indie dev who's never made a game before. If it flops, they lose their time. They're not losing millions of dollars having to lay people off. But when it comes to these big developers, you're
all they're
looking,
doing
they're
is
looking at the bottom line. They're going to take the safe route. And I don't listen. I don't fault them for doing that because I understand that's the gaming market now. This is as big as the movie industry. So,
bro, if you had
I get it.
What would you do? You would obviously stake yourself. Hey, this is what people have experienced. You're going to want to shovel it down their throats. You're going to want them to see something they've seen before. You're not going to just take a whim on something new, experimental. You're not going to want to do that.
I understand that, but think about it this way: when you make a Call of Duty, it costs hundreds of millions of dollars to make these. To make an indie type game, you could make 1,000 indie type games, and maybe only 5 of them would be great. But like you said, the return on investment. I don't think they've actually thought about that. I don't think they thought that, hey, if we make 10 games with $10 million each, that's $100 million. if we can get a return on investment on those 10 games that are equal to this one game, they only want to go
Right.
for the big,
But
swing.
they don't know those.
That's
indie
why
games are
Avatar
gonna
came
sell
out
that,
this
though.
year. Nobody
They don't.
cares.
That's still a risk, Mike, because they
Yeah.
don't know those games will say will each sell 1 million. They might sell 5,000. They don't know.
don't
They
need
know
them
Call of
to
Duty.
sell them.
We're gonna sell this much.
It's
But it's the same
established.
thing.
It's established.
It's the same thing with movies. You're saying
But
movies.
why take the
It's
risk if
done-
you don't have to as a business when you're
But there
worried
is
about?
risk, because let's say something like Max always talks about the DC, they spent like $500 million on Justice League, and that didn't make any of that money back. So I mean, they do sometimes spend a lot of money on IP that's supposed to be proven. Hey, let's get our $1 billion. Marvel's got it, and it doesn't work out. So I mean,
Well,
I'd like them to.
Like my
try
grandma
something
used to
different.
say, "It be like that sometimes."
Well, I mean,
Think of it
and
this
a
way.
part of it
Yeah,
is like
feeling
just the
this
turnaround time on game development is not quick. Like it
Yeah.
takes a lot to develop a game, and it takes a lot of manpower, a lot of hours, a lot of labor
I-
costs associated
Yeah.
with it too. So that's always going to be a factor when it comes to
I-
like making that
But-
decision.
But when
I
it
will
comes
say
to like
this.
when it comes to advertisement, here's the thing: fuck your advertisement. If it's good, the word will spread. That's all it takes is
Yeah,
word
that's
of
true.
mouth. In my
I don't
opinion,
know if that's as
you-
true anymore.
I don't know. I think it is. I think it is because I just today was like, hey, I saw this new Avatar movie, and this is my opinion on it. And I feel like that's just it goes that way because I don't feel like advertisements. I feel like it's word of mouth. Is it good or is it fucking bad? If you make a good product, it will sell.
I
No
think
matter
Top
how-
Gun Maverick is a very good example of that working. Like gangbusters. Like
It was
that.
Top Maverick was. I'm sorry, that movie was fucking great. Fucking
Yeah,
That's
amazing.
like to watch that. I
but
gotta
it
watch
blew
it
up
this
because of word of mouth, because of
Okay.
all the other people out
Yeah.
there that was saying that movie was fucking great.
But
You
think
could- but
about
it
this
really
way.
was though. But it really was though. And see,
Yeah.
the thing is, if you make a great product, it will spread. If you make a subpar, it will be subpar. If you make a shit product, it's going to be subpar. It's
Okay.
it's going to be what it be.
So that's an unproven thing. I mean, they did have a Top Gun, years ago, but they didn't know. But what I'm trying to say is, all these people go to business school and they have one set thinking. Let's take something that's proven. Coca-Cola. Why not? I'm just saying, they could get all of their money that they use for advertisement for an entire year. I mean, listen, everybody around the world, even third world countries, everyone knows Coca-Cola. Stop advertisement. Use that money and reduce the price by 50, maybe 60, 70%. They could clear out the market. Everybody would just buy that. They don't do that. They're always set the same way. That's why I like places like THQ Nordic. They said that they were going to come out with 70 games in the last 3 years, and nobody believed them. They've come out with about 50 of those games in the last 3 or 4 years. Listen, they might not make the amount of money, but the return on investment on these smaller games like Darksiders 3 and these small indie, I mean, think about it this way: a movie like Terrifier 2 is a horror movie. $10 million budget. If it even just makes 20 million, it's doubled the amount. Avatar cost a lot of money. Everyone's like, well, it's $1 billion, but with the advertisement and the actual cost of it, it's not making twice the amount. What I'm trying to say is, if you got 100 of something, just like a Terrifier, you'd make more money in the long run than an Avatar. Not all of them are going to hit. Some of them are going to be flops. But I'd rather put my eggs in 20 baskets than one. And I think the industry is really becoming stagnant because it's always going after that big hit. Think about it this way. Why is baseball so boring these days? It's because statistics have gotten to the fact that I'd rather swing.
All sports are boring these days.
But
Yo,
listen,
football.
No, he's got a
fights in
point.
your
Sim.
helmet.
No, I just wanna say this
Baseball
one
has a
thing.
real problem, and I know what he's
Yo,
getting at.
if you want baseball, put a
Baseball-
hole in the wall this big, and if you hit the ball in there, you win the fucking game. If you
No,
want
but
football to be
statistically, it was proven.
interesting,
This is
fights on the
something
helmets.
that baseball
Shit.
is terrible about. Statistically, it was proven. We're all going by AI now. All this AI statistics and stuff. Statistically, it was proven. You're better to strike out 5 times and hit 1 home run than you would be to try to actually get on base. it makes it boring. Everybody's going for that big swing, that big thing. Same thing in business. Everybody's going for that $1 billion movie or that $1 billion, Modern Warfare or whatever. But you know what? It's a swing and it's a miss. So many.
But those games aren't misses though, Garvey. That's the point. Like,
no.
Like Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, like those games are not misses. They're selling.
No, I know.
They know what their bottom line on those games is, and they know they're going to make it. So they're
I'm saying, John, for every one Metal Gear or every one Modern Warfare, how many other companies swing and miss? How many Ubisoft games that they try to do something big? We still haven't seen that Beyond Good or Evil. That was supposed to be this big budget. They spent millions of dollars, and it's not out yet. How many Microsoft games that they spent millions upon millions of dollars, and they're not out yet? They're losing money because they're trying to swing, and everyone.
I think when it comes to like companies like Microsoft, I think there's more to it than that. I think Microsoft has a development problem. I think Microsoft has.
I mean, look
other
at
problems.
Halo. It took 10 years to get that thing out. They could have had 10 Halos in that amount of time. Yeah, they might not have made a lot of money.
Well, it didn't take them 10 years, and they had Halo Wars and 1 and 2.
Those were from different development companies, different development cycles. Yeah, Halo Wars, those were side people. It took 10 years for that. Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite didn't take 10 years because you had Halo 5 in 2015, 2000.
Nah, we could go back to the tape, but I think it did take quite a long.
I mean, listen, you're right. It wasn't 2 years like we're used to as like retro gamers and stuff like that, where and that's a big problem in the industry. I see has too, is because like they announce a game and it's like, oh, when's that game coming out? Fucking 6 years from now. Look at Ninja. Microsoft bought Ninja Theory. When are we getting Hellblade 2 or Hellblade 2?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, it takes a lot to make a game. It's not. Look at any fucking Kickstarter project for game development.
Bro,
It takes so much to just get across the finish line. It's a miracle that most games even make it.
How long have they had these? How long have they had these developers, and they've done nothing with them? Nothing. And I think a
competent indie dev could have put out Hellblade 2 before Microsoft did.
Developers for how long? And they've done nothing with them for years.
Look, I agree, but Devin, think about it this way. And I'm not a Sony fanboy anymore. I have my Xbox Series X. I love Xbox now, but how many games have they put out? Like, I'm sorry, but you've got teams like the ones that put out The Last of Us, and people make fun that they keep putting out, but they did The Last of Us 2. In the same amount of time, what does Microsoft put out? They have 10 more teams than that, and they haven't put out anything. It's that Halo is an anomaly, but it's usually Forza and Gears. And then they get rid of games like that Scalebound. It's like, okay, well, that was a Platinum game, and everybody thinks Platinum's like untouchable now because of Nier. Well, that game was going to come out.
I'm sorry. So with respects to Microsoft, I'm sorry. What exactly is the argument you're making here?
I'm saying that their teams are having a hard time producing, whereas teams like, think about it. The team that creates The Last of Us, they also created all the Jak and Daxter. So that generation of PlayStation 2, they created 4 games. On PlayStation 3, they created 4 games. They created what is it? The one with the Uncharted. They created 4 games in that generation. In this generation, they're on track to create 4 games. What division in Microsoft has that track record of creating 4 games per cycle, per console cycle? I don't see any of them except for Forza and Gears. I don't know why all the others can't perform. What's the problem here?
I'm not for certain. I don't follow Microsoft development, so like I'm completely. I mean, I don't know what games they announced, or have they announced that they were working on any, and they just like haven't updated, or I really, this is like a area with which I'm clueless on, so I really don't know.
3 years ago, what is it? Hellblade Sexual Assault or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Sacrifice that was announced 3 years ago. What was the other one? Perfect Dark was announced 3 years ago.
Oh, I remember them announcing
Yeah,
that one.
I don't mind that they're not out, but we haven't
Can
even
I ask a
seen
question? Can I
screenshots
ask a
of it.
question? Can I ask a question? Is Max still awake? Max.
Probably not.
I'm
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been
I
real
was-
quiet.
Oh no, I was just letting you guys
Bro,
go.
You were in stasis there for a minute. I was like, yo, he's
No,
not moving at
Sometimes I
all.
check out my other social media, and
Hey.
I was just seeing what else.
That's just my opinion. Like I said, that's just my opinion. I'm not certainly not, as the Geek Getaway will say, I'm not experienced with the companies. They do what they want. They make their money. I'm just saying there are other ways, and I wish other companies would try different things. Everyone says they want to be like another company. They'll say we all want to be like Apple. Yeah, well then act like Apple. You can't just get the money without being innovative. You can't just get the money without breaking the mold. You follow the same pattern, you're going to get the same results. You have to be a trendsetter you have to think of the next great thing in order to be the next great thing. That's all I'm saying. Like I said, I'm certainly not one for business. I probably wouldn't have a lot of business acumen. I didn't go to business school. I went for history, so there you go.
Hey, I got a business
Yeah,
degree,
I mean-
and I'm not running a
that's-
gaming company, so I know as much as you do, Garvey.
I mean, I have like 14 years of experience working at game studios, and one of them, that big poster of them back, Recore, that was a Microsoft published game. I have
you
some
gotta get Connie
experience
started, man.
working with Microsoft. So, again, in response to that comment, Microsoft has a management issue, not a developer issue. Yeah, that's true for certain. Like the way that they handled that project, at least, that I have direct experience on, was bullshit. They did not manage it very well at all. And
I loved Recore too, man. I feel like that was a real missed opportunity for Microsoft.
Yeah,
I
it
played
was
that
for a
game for a little
variety
bit,
of
yeah.
reasons. For a variety of reasons, and it bums me out because it had a lot of potential. There was
It
so
did.
much cool shit that we wanted to do in that game that we couldn't because we were just like contractually limited with what we could do with it. And they had a crazy, crazy aggressive schedule to hit market, and the game was supposed to showcase what the Unity engine could do because it was built on Unity. They wanted to see if they could make a AAA blockbuster game on the Unity engine, which we showed that the Unity engine wasn't good for that sort of thing. But we were able to kind of fake it enough. But there were so many problems just getting it to that point of working that it burned the studio out tremendously. Like, so many people quit. I almost quit. Like, my manager, my boss, like the studio owners had to, talk to people, be like, no, we're once this title is shipped, we're going to do a lot to change the culture around here, blah, blah, blah. And they did, to their credit. I continued working for them for 2 years after that fact. They did a great job turning the studio around. Hell, they won Game of the Year for Resident Evil VR. So they did an excellent job. But
Oh, that was that shit too, by the way.
yeah, and they're fucking awesome. I love that team. But that project was bullshit, and it was largely because Microsoft, really, really handled the studio incorrectly.
Well, they seem to have a lot of issues
others.
with studios. From just you look at, was it Platinum was going to do that Scalebound game, and just they seem to have a lot of issues with people.
Yeah. That was one of the last.
I had no idea that game was built on Unity, by the way. That's actually really fucking impressive because I played a lot of Recore and I thought it was really good.
That's on my to-do list. I want to play that game.
Yeah, I think it's on Game Pass. You could probably just download it for nothing.
Yeah, that's also
Yeah, it is. I've
one
been
of
wanting
the
to play it.
actually Microsoft actually released. They announce they get these developers and then they don't do anything. And this came out for the Xbox One.
My tip for
Now they only
everybody.
release Halo and Forza. That's it.
My tip for everybody is look up your Game Pass games before you buy them, because the last year I bought about 6 games that actually were free on Game Pass. I actually was able to return 2 of them, but you get kind of stunned because you're like, God, this could never be on Game Pass. Yep,
I'll tell you
Game
what,
Pass.
man. They've been putting some real stinkers out on Game Pass the last couple months.
Chained Echoes. You should try that.
Well,
out.
and I should say
Yeah.
the Rick and Morty game is pretty fun.
That's
I
Yeah.
downloaded.
High Life.
I've been
High
playing
Life.
Gungrave Overdose. Is pretty fun.
Yeah, I did a review on that. That was pretty fun too.
Yeah, you're not
arcade.
wrong.
Gungrave, that game's broken on PC, man.
Hey,
Is it the one I'm thinking of? It's like that over the shoulder.
Yeah, over the shoulder,
Game.
and he's got a coffin, and he's
Gungrave.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about that game in ages.
That game is
Yeah.
legitimately. I don't know if it's broken on Xbox, but it's broken as fuck on PC. It's
Wasn't
not
it
even.
broken?
It's like not even finished.
Yeah.
I don't know how they could release that game on PC in the state it's in. Like I opened a door in the game in the first level, and I could not go any further. Like there was nothing there.
Yeah, that's
I would just
PC.
plummet to my death. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, restarted the game, uninstalled it, still kept happening. And I
What
just
game are you
Googled the
talking
game,
about? What is this?
Gungrave.
Gungrave. Yeah.
And yeah,
Gungrave
everyone on PC is like, yeah, it's broken. Don't even waste your time.
First two Gungraves.
What a
were on
bummer, because I
PlayStation
remember
2.
playing it before and it was fun. Like it was PS2. Yeah, it was a badass game. Highly stylized. I liked it.
Well, try it on Xbox if you have an Xbox. It's free with Game Pass. So
I was surprised because Microsoft is usually pretty solid about porting stuff to PC.
I think I want to try to. I think we'll give like a 5-minute warning to wrap this up because I know everyone's busy too, and I want to keep this a real casual like video game club once a month. So if anyone wants to say some final thoughts and go support everyone's channel here, John the Retro.
Oh,
Bro.
it's a new Gungrave. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's called Gungrave Gore.
Ah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Devin, I'd love to interview you sometime. I didn't know you were a developer. That's amazing. I used to interview people on my other channel. I don't know why people think I'm an E-King or whatever the heck that is, but
That was a
I would
real,
love to
it's a
pick
real
your
runner in
brain
the
on
chat.
stuff. Yeah,
Is your
we gotta
favorite
get
game
together
Morrowind,
sometime.
Devin?
No, Hans is trolling me because he knows how he's watched me rage quit that game. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't like Morrowind.
Well,
all.
here's Michael's channel. Go support him. No reason at all. He's a good friend. No, I'm just kidding. He sent me
Yeah, I had
my-
to bribe him. That's what it is.
No. He's a friend. But I was like, really? I almost turned him down. I'm like, no, I really want it.
What game is that, Max?
Uncharted Golden Abyss for the Vita.
Oh, okay.
My
Nice.
first sealed Vita game. Every game I got was already used. So
That's a good game.
oh, that's
That's a good
because
game.
I bought the Vita when it was a used thing. I
Yeah.
didn't buy it when it first came out. Let me get Devin's channel here. And Kamikaze's going to be making videos soon.
Nope. I'm retired. It's fun to be on these things, but I don't have the energy or the time. I got like 8,000 kids. I'm done.
Can you stream, Kamikaze? Can you stream? Because
Nah, I don't have the fucking time, dude. I got 4 kids. I'm done. I'm out. Anyway, go ahead, proceed.
Here's Devin's channel. I'll get Brian's.
Thank
Man,
you
I have
kindly.
and Brian does this Master of Nom sometimes, and it's all about food. It's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, who doesn't love that?
Yeah, I'm sorry I had to dip out early on the last one. Yeah, it was fun.
Not a worry at all. Not a worry at all.
Here's Brian's. Yeah, inconspicuously Garvey. Yeah, inconspicuous Garvey. Yes, that's
Yeah,
Garvey's.
I'm inconspicuous. or
And
whatever.
last but not least, the Retro Bro. Did I forget anyone? I think I got everyone.
Retro Bro's doing some killer videos on a lot of Sega.
Ooh, I didn't watch this one yet.
Oh, I appreciate that, Mike.
Oh my god, yeah! Like, come on,
I'll thumbs
it's
it up. I didn't even watch this
authority
yet.
on,
It's
on
called
all things.
it's
for
called-
Sega.
Sonic Mega Mix Sega CD. What? I have to check that
So
out.
Sonic Mega Mix is it's an unlicensed Sonic game that was
Ooh.
made by these developers. They disassembled it's not a ROM hack. It's a disassembly, which means they essentially took apart the first Sonic game and rebuilt it from the ground up. There's like different abilities, new levels, revisions of the older levels. There's new songs. It's really fucking good, man. You should watch that video.
I can't play it though because my Sega CD is not working.
Emulate it, man. It plays great on emulation.
Why
I have so much trouble with emulation.
I record my OG Xbox already has Sega CD games on it, but I forget how to add it, and I'm not good at that stuff.
You have
I
a
don't like-
PC, don't you?
Yeah.
You just download RetroArch, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I might start doing some RetroArch how-to videos because that's what I use.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
Debbie,
Retro Bro, I just saw a thumbnail on your channel about some the Sega Saturn 3D fighting games better than Tekken. Like
That's
That's-
clickbait, bro.
that's
Yeah.
an old. You're scratching an old wound. You're prying
You
open
gotta-
an old wound, man. You're
Does it-
prying
did
open
it
an old
work?
wound.
Did it work?
It worked for me.
Generally, it works. Generally,
No,
you
here's the thing.
You can
Everybody
comment like,
saw that
"What the hell's
one.
wrong with you,
fell
bro?"
for it.
I actually that's part 1. I have to make a part 2
Part
because
two is-
I actually missed a couple games.
Oh,
And
okay.
I misspoke. I don't know why. I don't know if I was tired when I edited that video or what, but I said Virtual Fighter. When I say Virtual Fighter, I will sometimes, like Freudian slip, say Virtual Fighter. I don't know why. I
Very
just say
common.
it.
Yeah.
Very
And
common.
everybody in the chat, everyone in the comment section, is like, it's Virtual Fighter, not Virtual Fighter. And I'm like, Jesus, come on. So I was saying that I said that like twice, and then I said Virtual Fighter 2 was a launch title, and it's not a launch title. The first Virtual Fighter was a lot. So I gotta do the second one.
Mm.
But my viewers called me out on it. So,
Oh
That's
man.
harsh. Come on, you can make
but it was
this-
good. It was good. That was a fun one to make. Because I love some of the 3D fighters on Saturn, like Last Bronx,
Oh, dude.
Mega Mix. Man, those are
I loved fighting Vipers a lot.
yeah, Fighting Vipers. Yeah, yeah.
And I would
Yeah.
always get when growing up in Japan, Virtual Fighter was the game, not Tekken. Like everyone was like a devotee to Virtual Fighter. So when I moved back to America and everybody was all about Tekken, I was like, what is this shit? Nobody plays Tekken. Like this game sucks. And then I get into all these fights with fucking Tekken bros and all these fighting game dudes who are like super devoted to fighting games that would just swear up and down on Tekken. And I just had to give up eventually. I was like, all right, fine, Tekken's superior. But I always knew in my heart that Virtual
Tekken
Fighter
3,
was the best.
Tekken 3 is superior. Tekken 1 and 2, they don't touch like Fighting
Yeah.
Vipers, Virtual Fighter, Last
Oh,
Bronx.
Tekken 2 is amazing.
It's not as good as
Yeah,
Fighting
Tekken 3.
Vipers is so
Tekken 3
fun.
was where it popped off, man.
I have Fighting Vipers 2 on the Dreamcast as an import only.
Oh, nice.
I never played Last Bronx, and I always wanted to play that one.
Yeah, that was also one of those hard to find ones.
Oh, I did have this article I forgot to bring up. There's a lot of handheld stuff that I want to get into, but handheld can also be expensive. This is the best PSP games. A lot of no, get out of here.
The Persona 3 is coming out in January on Game Pass, so it'll be free. It's the portable version, which is the inferior version. The PlayStation 2 one's better, but at least we're getting it. So, and it's free on Game Pass. So.
Well, I might as well go to 2 hours now. I don't know. It's like, we'll end it early.
Dude, I'm working
Devin,
from home tomorrow. I don't give a shit.
Contact you, Devin. I want to do something. I wanna do it.
Yeah. I already followed your page, your
Thank
channel.
you. Thank you. It's not that good, but thank you.
Yeah, it is. It is. Definitely check out my.
But on your channel, do you have like a link for like an email address or business or whatever I can get a hold of you? Or do you have a Twitter?
Yeah, I think my Twitter is linked on there, but yeah,
Okay.
I'm just
Alright.
just Wide Nerdcast on Twitter.
Okay.
And I still do fight club on Saturday nights, but I know people are busy there. It's just an open.
I love that.
No pressure. No pressure. I have to get right now. It's $12. I want to get Street Fighter Anniversary Collection on PlayStation because some other people have that, and I don't have that on PlayStation yet. So I can play Third Strike Online and Alpha. That would be a great. That's the one I'm planning to get. I think Tony says he already has it, so I'm going to play it.
I'm gonna be playing Call of Duty this weekend, man.
Call of Duty.
It's on sale right now. Me and Bob are gonna be playing some Call of Duty.
Is that
Call of
is
Duty.
that crossplay?
Yeah, it is.
Warzone or what?
No, I'm getting I gotta play I mean, I have
There's a
Warzone.
bundle that you
Warzone's
can
free.
I think
Yeah,
Warzone's
but the
free, there's a
multiplayer is where it's at.
I don't know, Tony. I think I want to play you at Street Fighter Anniversary. I just have to buy it. It's $12. It's usually $30.
Well, Max, are you gonna do Fight Night this Saturday? Because it's New Year's Eve this Saturday.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. We're doing something. Me and Brian
Yeah.
do. I don't. I'm gonna be online doing something.
We'll be
Scott.
naked. All right.
I'm
Doesn't
gonna
matter.
be partying. Woo! You're gonna be able to find
That
me.
shirt
We're gonna
won't be on. It's all
I don't know if me and Brian are still doing to the max or just doing a random stream or karaoke or Fight Club. I'm doing all kinds of
I don't know
crazy
what's
shit
going
on
on.
Saturday. So, and then I finally get a day off. Not next week, the week after. Just no helping the parents or anything, because usually my days off, I'm helping my parents, taking them to the doctor, getting medicine, getting food. It's just a day off, a 3-day weekend. Woo! Can't wait. Because I didn't get really any days off towards the end of the year. That's another, like, when people can't find me when I'm like sleeping, I'm like, man, I'm just exhausted and work sucks. Have you well before we end up, have you been enjoying your holidays, everyone? Having good times with the family?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I've been off so much, dude, and then my days at work are so slow. So
Okay.
it's been nice. I went back to work on Tuesday, and then tomorrow I'm only working to 3:30, and I'm working from home, and then I'm off all weekend, and then Monday I'm off. So, and then Tuesday I work from home. So it's kind of like I'm getting fucked up this weekend. I'm getting really drunk. My boss bought me a bottle of Jim Beam Devil's Cut.
Ooh,
So I'm gonna crack into that, and then between my boss and a bunch of other coworkers, they got me like $80 worth of gift cards for the liquor store. So I either work with a bunch of alcoholics or I've given them the wrong impression.
So are you going to be in a Care Bear outfit?
They're trying to tell you
streaming or
something.
what?
What's that, Mike?
You going to be in a Care Bear outfit streaming?
No,
man?
it's back in the 50s, man. I can't do that now. Last week when it was like 10 degrees would have been perfect for it.
I want to say something.
What's that? You got a fireplace going on there now.
Oh, it's my little electric fireplace, man.
I didn't see that wasn't there.
No, that
before.
was here. It was here when you were here. I just didn't have it on.
Oh.
Yeah, it was off. It was too hot down here. I couldn't put that on when you guys were all down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something.
Oh, go ahead, Brian.
Oh no, it was good. I was just.
Oh, okay.
It was all right. No, we're good.
Mikazi, have you had some great family time during the holidays, or are you trying to get away from your
absolutely, man.
family?
Yeah, man. Kids are happy. Wife is happy. It's all the fuck that matters. It's all
Oh,
that
cool,
fucking
cool,
matters.
cool. Any good
Yeah.
movies or anything you watched?
I watched Avatar.
was
You like it?
No.
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 Bro,
The
all
delay
right,
was
look,
the best part.
2
the
hours
delay.
and 45 minutes up to this shit. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. No, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth all that. Bro, it's literally the same fucking movie as the first one. There's not a fucking difference.
Okay.
Oh, I gotta learn how to be with these motherfuckers. Okay, now number 2. I gotta learn how to live with these motherfuckers. It's the same shit. The same fucking movie. It's the same goddamn thing.
It's
But
like
try
Home Alone 1
try
and Home Alone
imagine-
2. They're the exact same movie, just in a different.
But the crab robots were cool. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why I like those motherfuckers. I like the crab robots.
Did they have crab legs?
Yeah, they did.
Imagine watching Avatar in 4DX, and that was my experience. It was,
Shit was cool. It was
brutal.
alright. It was alright.
What's
But
that?
what I've heard from everybody who's seen it before is like, if you liked the first movie, or whatever your feelings are about the first movie, this is going to be your feelings about this movie, and this is legitimately my feelings about this movie. It's the same shit. Same
Okay.
shit.
I have a question for you, Kamikaze. I never
Alright.
saw the first movie, so if I come into this one blind, would this be a great movie for me?
I don't know. I mean, it's alright. It's okay. Like,
I
it's-
asked
Would he
my
be
son.
lost though?
Well,
Is he gonna make-
I would just watch the first one on Disney.
I don't
Plus
wanna
right
yeah,
watch
now.
bro, it's coming on Disney Plus. Let's watch that
I don't
shit.
want to watch it.
I watched it in 3D.
I think you
too.
can watch
spent-
the second.
I
You
spent
can watch
the extra money and watch it in 3D.
My 22-year-old
Sorry.
son, my
Okay.
youngest son, he told me I don't want to go see it because it's too long. And this week alone, he's seen it twice by himself. I'm like, why don't you invite me? I want to go. I got a channel. I got to put it up. And I'm like, whatever.
Bro, it's
It's long. It's a long ass movie.
It's too fucking long.
Well,
It's not
Endgame was
even
3
too
hours
long.
though, wasn't
It's
it?
13 years too late.
wasn't
Why
like
not do
Endgame like
this
3 hours?
2 or 3
Chris?
hours, 2 or 3 years after this shit came out. Why?
He just goes.
I'm gonna pull the plug on the viewers. We could talk a little bit behind the stage, but we reached the 2-hour mark. Thank you for supporting the show. I think this is a fun
My
experiment.
bad. I'm
Max,
sorry.
for
Fuck
letting
me
Avatar.
know.
This shit
No.
boring.
No, I think we if I do once a month, we could keep the show going and no pressure for people. But thank you, John, for making time to come visit. And yeah, he set up the whole template of the show, the intro and the background. So thanks, John. I'm going to keep using that.
If you
Mike?
need any more stuff, I actually do want to work on a new intro for you.
Oh, okay. Cool.
If you want some more stuff.
Sure, that'd be awesome.
I don't like that intro because I had to make it fast because the other one I had
Well,
the
that was
copy, you get the claim on it. I don't because I have the rights, but I didn't realize that when I made the first intro.
oh, link my Discord. Hold on. Yes, people. My Discord's pretty. I don't want to jinx myself, but it's been pretty drama free, and I just want everyone. I have a few clubs in there. We're a karaoke club, fight club, fuck video games,
don't talk about
anime
Fight
club,
Anime
and
Club.
What kind of video games?
Kung Fu Kaiju club, fighting games.
I have been so
Oh,
into
okay.
Overlord, the anime lately. I've seen it's got four seasons. I've seen them like 3 times.
Here's the Discord. So go join and be merry and no drama, and just to collab. F video games, no figure draw. We love
Whoa,
it.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Them is fighting words. There's a question mark.
Maybe you meant
So to be
literally. I
fair,
mean,
even he's unsure of
you
the
have a hole in
comment.
them.
Yes.
Oh, he thought you
all right.
said it.
Oh no. Fun video.
Yeah, that's what I was
games.
saying. Max said, I think he said fuck video games. I was like,
Hey, if there's
Kind of
ones
video
where you
games?
F2, I mean, let me know. I don't.
Max.
well, I'm just saying.
You gotta go
Max,
Steam and
no,
get a
no,
VR
no.
headset for that.
You do not need
dating
to be
Sims is your
booted
thing, bro.
from-
Like,
Zeno, you do not need to be
Dating
booted
Sims
from
are good.
another Discord. God damn it, Zeno. All right. We're going to talk a little bit behind the scenes, but thank you. We'll try to do this once a month. I'll let everyone know. I'll try to be playing ahead next time, but this was fun. This is fun. And I'm looking forward to too many games, and I got to get my
I can't wait, dude. I can't. I'm gonna spend so much fucking money. It's gonna be criminal.
You can't
John,
let me
I'm
forget
gonna
about
try
buying
to
my
go
tickets
too.
because I don't want to get sold out, and I want to get my tickets.
They won't get sold out. You'll be fine.
All right. So bye, everyone. Thanks.